Calm depth attracts more than loud confidence. Calm depth is one of the most powerful forms of attraction because it does not fight for attention. It does not walk into a room begging to be noticed, yet somehow people feel it. This is the kind of presence that makes others look twice, not because you are loud, flashy, or desperate to prove yourself, but because there is something settled about you. You seem like someone who knows who they are, even when no one is clapping. Loud confidence can impress people for a moment, but calm depth stays in their mind longer. When someone talks too much, brags too often, or tries too hard to dominate every space, people may notice them, but they also begin to feel the insecurity hiding underneath. Calm depth is different. It makes people curious. They wonder what you are thinking, what you have experienced, and why you do not need to explain yourself like everyone else. This attraction feels unfair because it works quietly. You are not forcing chemistry. You are not performing mystery. You are simply carrying yourself like a person who is not easily shaken. That emotional steadiness makes people feel safe around you, but also slightly challenged because they cannot fully read you at once. Calm depth creates a pull because human beings are drawn to what feels rare. In a world where many people are rushing to be seen, the person who can remain grounded feels different. Their silence does not feel empty. Their words feel heavier because they are not wasted. Their presence feels valuable because it is not thrown everywhere. That is why calm depth attracts more than loud confidence. Loud confidence may win attention quickly, but calm depth wins memory. It leaves people thinking about you long after the moment has passed. Attention feels valuable when you do not chase. Attention feels valuable when it is not given away too easily. This is one of the most misunderstood attraction secrets because many people think the way to become wanted is to show more, text more, explain more, and prove more. But the human mind often values what feels limited. When your attention is always available, it can start to feel ordinary. When your attention is calm, selective, and not desperate, it begins to feel earned. This does not mean acting cold or pretending not to care. That usually feels childish and forced. Real attraction grows when people sense that your attention comes from choice, not need. You are present when you want to be present, but you are not chasing every reply, every reaction, or every sign of approval. That creates a quiet emotional pressure because people begin to notice that access to you is not automatic. When you do not chase, your presence becomes stronger. A message from you feels more meaningful. A compliment from you lands deeper. Your time feels more important because it is not being thrown around in panic. People can feel the difference between someone who is interested and someone who is starving for validation. Interest attracts, but desperation can make people pull away. The power of not chasing is that it protects your dignity. You are not trying to force someone to see your value. You are allowing your value to stand on its own. That kind of self-control makes people wonder about you. It makes them think about your silence, your patience, and your ability to stay calm without begging for attention. That is why attention feels valuable when you do not chase. The less you run after approval, the more powerful your presence becomes. A self-led life makes you magnetic. A self-led life makes you magnetic because it shows people that you are not waiting for someone else to give you permission to exist. You have your own rhythm, your own direction, your own standards, and your own inner world. This kind of attraction is powerful because it does not depend on looks, noise, or constant performance. It comes from the feeling that you are already moving somewhere, with or without applause. People are naturally drawn to those who seem guided from within. When your life is not controlled by every opinion, every trend, or every person's approval, you begin to carry a different kind of energy. You do not look emotionally lost. You do not seem like someone who can be easily pulled apart by attention or rejection. That stability makes people curious, because a self-led person feels rare in a world where many people are quietly begging to be chosen. A self-led life also creates attraction because it gives people something to respect. You have interests, goals, habits, and boundaries that exist beyond romance, friendship, or social validation. This makes your presence feel fuller. You are not empty space waiting for someone to fill you. You are already a whole person, and that makes connection with you feel like an addition, not a rescue mission. This is why people often become more attracted to someone when they see them focused on their own path. Purpose creates mystery. Discipline creates admiration. Independence creates desire. When someone senses that you are not easily distracted from your life, they begin to wonder what it would be like to be invited into it. A self-led life is magnetic because it quietly says, "I choose, I do not beg," and that kind of energy is hard to ignore. Quiet confidence speaks louder than noise. Quiet confidence speaks louder than noise because it does not need to announce itself. It is the kind of confidence people feel before they can explain it. A loud person may command attention for a few minutes, but a quietly confident person holds attention without forcing anything. They do not need to dominate the room, interrupt conversations, or prove their worth through constant performance. Their power comes from being settled within themselves. This kind of confidence is attractive because it feels real. When someone is always trying to show how smart, successful, strong, or desirable they are, people may listen, but they may also sense the insecurity underneath. Noise often reveals the need to be validated. Quiet confidence reveals the absence of that need. It tells people, without words, that you already know your value. Quiet confidence also makes people curious. When you are not rushing to explain yourself, people start wondering about you. They pay closer attention to your words because you do not waste them. They notice your body language because it is not desperate. They feel your presence because it is calm, not chaotic. That silence becomes magnetic because it creates space for others to feel you. The power of quiet confidence is that it makes people feel both safe and intrigued. You are not trying to overpower them, yet you are not shrinking yourself either. You can listen without looking weak. You can speak without sounding needy. You can disagree without becoming defensive. That balance is rare, and rare things naturally pull attention. Quiet confidence speaks louder than noise because noise asks to be noticed, but quiet confidence makes people notice on their own. And when attention is earned without force, it becomes much harder to forget. People remember how you made them feel. People remember how you made them feel because emotion leaves a deeper mark than words. You may forget exact conversations, outfits, jokes, or small details, but you rarely forget the person who made you feel calm, valued, excited, understood, or important. This is one of the strongest attraction secrets because people do not become attached only to your appearance or what you say. They become attached to the emotional state they experience around you. When someone feels lighter after speaking with you, they begin to associate your presence with relief. When they feel heard without being judged, they begin to see you as emotionally safe. When they feel respected, noticed, and not pressured, they start connecting your name with comfort. That is why attraction is not always about being the most impressive person in the room. Sometimes it is about being the person whose energy feels different from everyone else's. This is also why emotional presence matters more than perfect words. You can say everything correctly and still leave someone feeling unseen. You can have charm, humor, and confidence, but if people feel drained around you, they may not return. But when your presence makes them feel more alive, more peaceful, or more like themselves, they remember you without trying. The powerful part is that people often do not know why they keep thinking about you. They may say there is just something about you, when what they really mean is that your presence created an emotional memory. You made them feel something rare. People remember how you made them feel because feelings become invisible anchors. Long after the moment ends, the emotion stays behind, quietly pulling their mind back to you. Mystery is selective sharing, not silence. Mystery is selective sharing, not silence. Because true mystery is not about hiding everything. It is about revealing yourself with control. Many people misunderstand mystery and think they must act cold, distant, unavailable, or emotionally unreadable. But silence alone does not always create attraction. Sometimes silence feels empty, confusing, or even boring. Real mystery comes from giving people enough to feel interested, but not so much that they feel they have already discovered everything about you. Selective sharing creates curiosity because it gives your personality layers. You do not pour out every story, every wound, every plan, and every private thought too soon. You allow people to earn access to deeper parts of you over time. This makes your presence feel valuable because your inner world is not handed out casually. People naturally pay more attention to what is revealed slowly. This kind of mystery is powerful because it protects both attraction and respect. When you overshare too early, people may feel close to you for a moment, but the curiosity can disappear quickly. They may know your pain before they know your strength. They may know your fears before they understand your values. Selective sharing allows people to experience you in stages, which makes connection feel deeper and more natural. Mystery also creates emotional tension. When someone senses that there is more to you than what they can immediately see, their mind begins to fill in the gaps. They wonder about your past, your thoughts, your standards, and your hidden depth. That wondering keeps attention alive. Mystery is selective sharing, not silence, because silence can close the door, but selective sharing leaves it slightly open. And that small opening is often what makes people want to come closer. Emotional control creates curiosity. Emotional control creates curiosity because people are naturally drawn to what they cannot easily predict. When you do not react to every little thing, explain every feeling, or lose yourself in every moment of pressure, people begin to wonder what is happening beneath the surface. They sense that you are not empty, but controlled. You feel deeply, but you do not let every emotion command your behavior. That kind of discipline is rare, and rarity creates attraction. Most people are used to emotional noise. They expect anger to explode, insecurity to beg, jealousy to show, and disappointment to become dramatic. So when they meet someone who can stay calm, measured, and steady, it interrupts their expectations. They start asking silent questions. Why are you so composed? What gives you that strength? What are you thinking, but not saying? That curiosity makes your presence more powerful. Emotional control does not mean acting cold or pretending you feel nothing. That can make you seem distant or disconnected. True emotional control means you have feelings, but you are not ruled by them. You can be hurt without becoming cruel. You can be interested without becoming desperate. You can be upset without losing dignity. This makes people feel safe around you, but also intrigued by you. The attractive part is the tension it creates. People can sense there is depth inside you, but they cannot access it all at once. Your calmness becomes a doorway they want to understand. Your silence feels thoughtful, not empty. Your restraint makes your words carry more weight when you finally speak. Emotional control creates curiosity because it shows inner power. People may notice beauty first, but they remember the person who stayed composed when everyone else lost themselves. Genuine praise feels stronger when rare. Genuine praise feels stronger when rare because people value what does not feel automatic. When someone compliments everything, reacts to everything, and praises every small action too quickly, their words can lose weight. Even if the intention is kind, constant praise can start to feel ordinary, predictable, or slightly empty. But when praise comes from someone who is observant, selective, and not easily impressed, it lands differently. It feels earned. This is why rare praise can create powerful attraction. People want to feel seen, but they also want to feel that what you noticed was real. A simple compliment from a person who does not flatter everyone can stay in the mind for a long time. It makes the other person wonder, what did they see in me? That question creates emotional impact because the praise does not feel cheap, it feels chosen. The strength of genuine praise is not in how often you give it, but in how deeply it connects to something true. Complimenting someone's appearance may feel nice, but noticing their patience, intelligence, discipline, kindness, courage, or quiet effort can touch a deeper place. People are often tired of being praised for obvious things. When you notice what others miss, your words become memorable. Rare praise also shows self-control. It tells people you are not trying to win them over with empty sweetness. You are not throwing compliments around to be liked. You are paying attention, and when you speak, it means something. That makes your approval feel valuable. Genuine praise feels stronger when rare because rarity gives words emotional weight. When people know your compliments are not easily given, they hold on to them longer, replay them silently, and begin to associate your attention with something meaningful. A calm exit beats dramatic pleading. A calm exit beats dramatic pleading because dignity often speaks louder than desperation. When someone feels ignored, rejected, disrespected, or undervalued, the natural instinct is to explain harder, beg longer, prove more, or force the other person to understand. But the painful truth is that pleading rarely makes someone value you more. Most times, it only shows them that they can treat your presence carelessly and still keep access to you. A calm exit works differently. It does not scream, threaten, or collapse. It simply removes your energy from a place where it is no longer being respected. That kind of exit creates a deeper emotional impact because it is controlled. It tells the other person that you have feelings, but you also have limits. You may care, but you are not willing to lose yourself just to be chosen. This is powerful because people often realize value through absence. When you are always explaining, always chasing, and always trying to repair what someone keeps breaking, your presence can become too available. But when you leave calmly, without begging for attention or fighting for basic respect, your absence becomes louder than your words ever were. A calm exit also protects your self-image. You do not walk away because you are heartless. You walk away because you understand that love, friendship, attraction, or connection should not require you to abandon your dignity. This kind of self-control can make people see you differently. They realize you are not easily controlled by emotion. A calm exit beats dramatic pleading because pleading asks someone to recognize your worth, but leaving calmly shows that you already recognize it. That quiet strength can stay in someone's mind long after you are gone. Worth is felt when it is not begged for. Worth is felt when it is not begged for because true value does not need constant explanation. The moment you start begging someone to see your importance, you slowly train them to believe your value is optional. You may think you are proving love, loyalty, or seriousness, but what they may feel instead is pressure. Attraction becomes weaker when it starts sounding like a case you are trying to argue in court. People sense worth more deeply when it stands still. A person who knows their value does not chase every cold reply, decode every mixed signal, or keep explaining why they deserve basic respect. They may care, but they do not collapse. They may be interested, but they do not worship. That emotional balance makes their presence feel stronger because they are not handing their dignity to someone else for approval. Begging often comes from fear of being replaced, fear of being forgotten, fear of not being enough, fear that silence means the connection is dying. But the painful truth is that fear rarely creates attraction. It often makes people feel crowded. When you stop begging, you create space, and space reveals truth. Someone either steps closer because they value you, or they drift away because they only enjoyed being chased. This is why quiet self-worth can feel so magnetic. It does not attack. It does not compete. It does not shout, "Choose me." It simply carries the energy of someone who will not shrink to keep a place in another person's life. Worth is felt when it is not begged for, because people respect what respects itself. When your value is no longer up for debate, your presence becomes harder to dismiss, harder to misuse, and harder to forget. Slow replies can build interest. Slow replies can build interest because attention becomes more powerful when it does not feel automatic. When someone knows you will answer instantly every time, wait around for every message, and adjust your whole mood based on their response, your presence can begin to feel too available. It may not be because they are cruel. It is simply how the human mind often works. What feels too easy to access can slowly lose its emotional weight. A slow reply does not mean playing childish games or pretending to be busy when you are not. That kind of behavior can feel fake and manipulative. The real power comes from having a life that does not stop every time someone messages you. You reply with warmth, but not desperation. You show interest, but you do not abandon your rhythm. That balance makes people feel that your attention is real, but not free for anyone to control. Slow replies can create curiosity because they leave space. In that space, the other person starts thinking. They wonder what you are doing, what has your attention, and why you are not rushing to prove yourself. This does not work because of distance alone. It works because your calmness suggests self-respect. You are not ignoring them to punish them. You are simply not living as if their notification is the center of your world. This is why slow replies can feel attractive when done naturally. Your message carries more weight because it arrives from someone who has their own life. Your words feel less needy because they are not sent in panic. Your presence feels more valuable because it is not constantly chasing contact. Slow replies can build interest because they create breathing room, and sometimes The space between messages makes someone feel your absence more clearly than constant availability ever could. Pausing before speaking gives words weight. Pausing before speaking gives words weight because silence creates attention before the sentence arrives. Most people rush to respond because they are afraid of losing control of the conversation. They answer too quickly, explain too much, and fill every empty space with nervous words. But when someone pauses before speaking, it creates a different feeling. It makes people lean in. It makes them wonder what is coming next. It signals that the person is not just reacting, but thinking. This is powerful because people often trust measured words more than rushed words. A quick answer can sound emotional, defensive, or careless, even when it is true. But a pause makes your response feel intentional. It suggests self-control. It tells others that your words are not being thrown out to impress, please, or protect yourself. They are being chosen. And chosen words naturally feel stronger. In attraction, this works because a pause adds depth to your presence. You do not seem desperate to be heard. You do not seem afraid of silence. You are comfortable enough to let a moment breathe before you fill it. That comfort can make people feel both safe and curious around you. They begin to feel that your mind has layers and that your attention is not scattered. A pause also gives emotion less control over your image. When you pause before answering disrespect, pressure, or a difficult question, you avoid giving people the version of you that panic would create. You respond from dignity, not impulse. That makes your presence feel stronger. Pausing before speaking gives words weight because it turns ordinary communication into presence. When you do not rush your voice, people listen differently. They feel the control behind your calmness, and that calmness can make even simple words stay in their mind longer. Warmth is stronger with boundaries. Warmth is stronger with boundaries because kindness loses power when it has no protection. Many people think being attractive means being endlessly available, endlessly forgiving, endlessly understanding, and endlessly soft. But warmth without boundaries can slowly become self-abandonment. It can make people enjoy your comfort while ignoring your limits. The truth is, people may like access to someone who never says no, but they often respect the person who can be kind without becoming easy to misuse. This is why warmth with boundaries feels so powerful. It creates a rare emotional balance. You can be gentle, but not weak. You can be caring, but not desperate. You can listen, support, and love without allowing someone to treat your heart like a place they can enter and leave carelessly. That kind of energy makes people feel safe around you, but also aware that your presence has standards. Boundaries make warmth feel more valuable because they show that your kindness is a choice, not a weakness. When you are good to people but still able to step back when respect disappears, your softness becomes stronger. People begin to understand that your affection is not something they can demand. It must be honored. This also creates deeper attraction because people are drawn to those who can love without losing themselves. A person with boundaries does not create pressure, but they do create consequence. They make others feel that connection with them is peaceful but not careless. They are not cold, but they are not endlessly available for disrespect. Warmth is stronger with boundaries because it teaches people how to experience you. Your kindness opens the door, but your standards decide who gets to stay close. That combination makes your presence feel comforting, powerful, and hard to take for granted. Standards make your attention feel earned. Standards make your attention feel earned because people value what they cannot receive carelessly. When your time, energy, affection, and focus are available to anyone who asks, your presence can slowly lose its weight. It may still be kind, but it no longer feels rare. People begin to sense that they do not have to show respect, consistency, or effort to keep access to you, and once attention feels guaranteed, it can become easy to overlook. This is why standards create attraction. They show that your attention is not random. It is connected to how someone treats you, how they show up, and whether their actions match their words. You are not cold, proud, or difficult. You simply understand that closeness should require care. That makes your energy feel more valuable because people know they cannot receive it while giving you confusion, disrespect, or half-hearted effort. Standards also make your presence more powerful because they create emotional structure. People know where they stand with you. They understand that kindness does not mean unlimited access. and interest does not mean desperation. This balance can make them respect you more deeply because you are not trying to be chosen at the cost of your dignity. In attraction, standards work quietly. They make someone feel that getting your attention means something. Your replies feel more meaningful. Your compliments feel more real. Your presence feels more important because it is not handed out to anyone who brings temporary excitement. You are showing that access to you must be matched by maturity. Standards make your attention feel earned because they turn your energy into something respected, not consumed. When people know you can walk away from poor treatment, they become more aware of the privilege of being close to you. Comfort with being misunderstood feels rare. Comfort with being misunderstood feels rare because most people are secretly addicted to being explained correctly. They want everyone to see their intentions, approve their choices, understand their silence, and agree with their version of themselves. When they are judged wrongly, they rush to defend, clarify, over-explain, and repair the image someone else has created. But a person who can remain calm while being misunderstood carries a different kind of power. This kind of comfort is attractive because it shows inner stability. You are not controlled by every opinion. You do not need to chase every false story. You do not collapse just because someone fails to read you properly. That does not mean you enjoy being misjudged. It means you know your truth does not disappear just because another person cannot recognize it. People are drawn to that because it feels uncommon. In a world where many are performing for approval, the person who can stay grounded without begging to be understood feels almost untouchable. Their silence does not feel weak. It feels mature. Their refusal to over-explain does not feel empty. It feels like self-respect. This also creates curiosity. When you do not panic under misunderstanding, people begin to wonder what gives you that strength. They sense that your identity is not built on public reaction. You know who you are before anyone agrees with you. Comfort with being misunderstood feels rare because it reveals emotional independence. You are not saying, "Think whatever you want," from bitterness. You are saying it from peace. And that peace can make people respect you deeply because the person who does not need everyone to understand them often becomes the one people try hardest to figure out. Attraction grows when people feel chosen. Attraction grows when people feel chosen because everyone wants to feel like they were not just convenient, available, or easy to access. There is a deep emotional difference between feeling used for attention and feeling genuinely selected. When someone senses that your interest is intentional, not desperate, it touches a part of them that wants to feel special, valued, and seen beyond the surface. This is why attraction becomes stronger when your attention feels personal. If you treat everyone the same way, flirt with everyone the same way, compliment everyone the same way, and offer your energy without discernment, your presence may feel pleasant but not powerful. But when someone feels that you noticed something specific in them, something others might miss, they begin to feel chosen. That feeling can create emotional attachment faster than beauty or charm alone. Being chosen does not mean being worshipped. In fact, worship can feel heavy, needy, and uncomfortable. Real choosing feels calm. It says, "I see you, and I am here because I want to be, not because I need anyone to fill an empty space." That kind of energy makes people relax because they do not feel like a replacement for loneliness. They feel like a decision. This is powerful because people remember the ones who made them feel distinct. When you give focused attention, listen closely, remember small details, and show interest without chasing, the other person begins to feel emotionally important. They feel that your presence has direction. Attraction grows when people feel chosen because chosen attention feels rare. It makes someone feel seen in a world where many people are only glanced at. And once a person feels truly selected, they often begin to lean closer without realizing why. Relaxed presence is stronger than intensity. Relaxed presence is stronger than intensity because people feel safer around energy that does not rush, pressure, or overwhelm them. Intensity can be exciting at first, but it can also feel heavy when it arrives too fast. When someone comes with too much emotion, too much attention, too much need, or too much force, the other person may feel noticed, but they may also feel trapped. Relaxed presence works differently. It gives people room to breathe. This kind of attraction is powerful because it does not demand a reaction. A relaxed person does not need to fill every silence, force every connection, or prove every feeling immediately. They can sit in the moment without trying to control it. That calmness makes others feel comfortable, and comfort is one of the strongest doors into deeper attraction. People naturally return to the presence that makes them feel at ease. Intensity often comes from fear. Fear of losing attention. Fear of not being enough. Fear that if you do not push harder, the connection will disappear. But relaxed presence comes from trust. It says, I can enjoy this moment without trying to own it. That kind of energy feels mature because it allows attraction to grow naturally instead of squeezing it too tightly. Relaxed presence also creates curiosity. When you are not forcing yourself into someone's emotional space, they begin to move toward you on their own. They feel your confidence without feeling your pressure. They sense your interest without feeling your hunger. Relaxed presence is stronger than intensity because it makes people feel free around you. And when someone feels free, calm, and unpressured in your presence, they often begin to associate you with peace, safety, and quiet desire. Unpredictable reactions create curiosity. Unpredictable reactions create curiosity because people are naturally drawn to what they cannot fully calculate. When your responses are too obvious, too desperate, or too easy to predict, people quickly learn your emotional pattern. They know what will upset you, what will make you chase, what will make you explain, and what will make you give more than you should. But when your reactions are calm, measured, and not always expected, people begin to pay closer attention. This does not mean acting unstable, confusing, or emotionally inconsistent. That kind of unpredictability creates anxiety, not attraction. The powerful kind of unpredictability comes from self-control. You do not react just because someone expects you to. You do not argue because they provoke you. You do not chase because they pull away. You do not over-explain because they misunderstand you. Instead, you choose your response from dignity. That kind of emotional control makes people curious because they cannot easily control the connection. They start wondering what you are thinking, what you noticed, and why you are not reacting like everyone else. Your calmness becomes a puzzle. Your restraint makes your presence feel deeper. People become more interested because they sense there are layers they have not reached yet. Predictability can make someone feel too available. If people know you will always respond the same way, they may stop being careful with your emotions. But when your reactions come from standards, not fear, they become more aware of how they approach you. Unpredictable reactions create curiosity because they interrupt emotional routine. You are not being dramatic. You are not being cold. You are simply not easy to read, rush, or control. And when people cannot fully predict you, they often become more interested in understanding you. A peaceful life quietly attracts. A peaceful life quietly attracts because it gives people something they may not even know they are searching for. In a world full of noise, pressure, drama, comparison, and emotional exhaustion, someone who carries peace feels different. They do not have to perform too much. They do not have to prove they are exciting. Their energy alone begins to speak. People can sense when your life is not built around chaos, and that calmness can become deeply magnetic. This kind of attraction is subtle because peace does not shout. It does not demand attention. It does not try to impress through constant movement, loud confidence, or emotional intensity. Instead, it creates a quiet feeling around you. People feel less tense in your presence. They feel that they can breathe, think, laugh, and be themselves without being pulled into unnecessary stress. That emotional ease makes them want to come closer. A peaceful life also creates curiosity because it suggests inner discipline. People begin to wonder how you protect your mind, how you handle disappointment, and why you are not constantly reacting to everything around you. They sense that your peace is not weakness, it is control. It means you have learned not to give every person, problem, or opinion power over your emotional state. This is powerful because many people are tired of being around energy that drains them. They may be attracted to excitement for a moment, but they often crave peace when they think about who they want to return to. A peaceful person feels like rest without boredom, safety without pressure, and warmth without chaos. A peaceful life quietly attracts because it makes your presence feel like relief, and when someone begins to associate you with relief, they may start wanting your energy more than they expected. Self-respect makes silence powerful. Self-respect makes silence powerful because silence means something different when it comes from a person who knows their value. Some people stay silent because they are afraid, confused, weak, or waiting to be chosen. But the silence of a self-respecting person feels different. It does not feel empty. It feels controlled. It tells others that not every action deserves a reaction, not every insult deserves an explanation, and not every person deserves access to your emotions. This kind of silence can be more attractive than long speeches because it creates emotional weight. When you are always explaining, defending, reacting, and proving, people may hear your words, but they can also sense your need to be understood. But when you are able to stay quiet without looking defeated, your silence begins to carry strength. It shows that your peace is more important than winning every argument. Self-respecting silence also creates curiosity. People start wondering what you are thinking, what you noticed, and why you are not rushing to respond like everyone else. They may expect you to chase, plead, or lose control, but your calmness interrupts their expectations. That interruption makes your presence harder to ignore. This does not mean using silence to punish people or manipulate them. That kind of silence is immature. Powerful silence comes from emotional discipline. It is the ability to step back when words would only lower your dignity. It is knowing when speaking will help and when speaking will only give someone more power over your state of mind. Self-respect makes silence powerful because it turns quietness into a boundary. You are not silent because you have nothing to say. You are silent because you understand that your energy is valuable, and not everyone has earned the right to disturb it. Safety without desperation is magnetic. Safety without desperation is magnetic because it gives people comfort without making them feel trapped. Many people want to be seen, heard, and emotionally protected, but they do not want to feel responsible for another person's entire happiness. When someone brings warmth, patience, and emotional safety without clinging, begging, or demanding constant reassurance, their presence becomes deeply attractive. They feel like peace, not pressure. This kind of attraction works because people relax around emotional safety. They feel they can speak honestly without being judged, make mistakes without being attacked, and be vulnerable without having their weakness used against them. But the powerful part is that this safety does not come with desperation. You are not using kindness as a way to force closeness. You are not giving comfort just to make someone depend on you. You are simply steady. Desperation can make even good intentions feel heavy. When someone senses that your care is secretly asking, "Please choose me, please need me, please never leave," they may begin to pull away. The connection starts feeling like a responsibility instead of a desire. But when your safety comes from self-respect, it feels different. You can care deeply without losing your center. You can be present without trying to own the person. That balance creates a rare emotional pull. People feel safe enough to come closer, but free enough not to feel cornered. They sense that your affection is real, but not needy. Your calmness gives them room to breathe, and that freedom makes your presence even more desirable. Safety without desperation is magnetic, because it offers what many people secretly crave: warmth without pressure, closeness without control, and emotional peace without hidden demands. When someone feels safe around you without feeling trapped by you, they often return to your energy again and again. Confidence is deeper without applause. Confidence is deeper without applause because real confidence does not need an audience to survive. Many people only feel powerful when someone is praising them, watching them, choosing them, or reacting to them. Their confidence rises when attention comes and disappears when attention leaves. But the person who remains steady even when nobody is clapping carries a different kind of strength. Their value is not being borrowed from the room. This kind of confidence feels attractive because it is quiet, grounded, and difficult to fake. When someone does not need constant approval to feel secure, people sense it. They notice the way that person walks without performing, speaks without begging to be admired, and stays calm without needing every moment to prove something. That kind of energy makes others curious because it suggests a deep inner foundation. Applause-based confidence can look impressive at first, but it often depends on reaction. If people stop cheering, the person starts shrinking, chasing, or overcompensating. But confidence without applause is different. It says, "I know who I am," before anyone recognizes it. That is powerful because it does not collapse under silence, rejection, or being overlooked. This also creates emotional authority. When you are not addicted to praise, people cannot easily control you with attention. They cannot make you desperate by withholding validation. They cannot make you perform just to feel important. Your confidence comes from standards, self-knowledge, discipline, and private proof. Confidence is deeper without applause because it shows that your identity is not built on noise. You do not need every room to celebrate you before you respect yourself. And when people meet someone who can stand tall without constant recognition, they often feel a quiet pull toward that kind of self-possession. Kindness with limits creates tension. Kindness with limits creates tension because it gives people warmth without making your presence feel easy to misuse. Many people understand kindness and many people understand distance, but very few know how to combine softness with standards. When you are kind without limits, people may enjoy your comfort, but they may also begin to take it for granted. When you have limits without kindness, you may seem cold or unreachable, but when both exist together, your energy becomes powerful. This kind of attraction works because it creates emotional contrast. You can be caring, patient, and generous, but you are not desperate to be accepted. You can listen deeply, but you will not become someone's emotional dumping ground. You can forgive, but you will not keep pretending repeated disrespect is harmless. That balance makes people feel your heart, but also feel your strength. The tension comes from the fact that people know they can get close to you, but not carelessly. They sense that your kindness is real, yet it has a boundary around it. You are not using warmth to beg for love. You are not giving endlessly just to be chosen. Your softness is controlled by self-respect, and that makes it more valuable. People are often drawn to this because it feels safe and challenging at the same time. They feel accepted, but they also understand that access to you requires maturity. They cannot simply take, vanish, return, and expect the same open door every time. Your kindness welcomes connection, but your limits protect your dignity. Kindness with limits creates tension because it makes people feel both comfort and consequence. You are warm enough to be loved, but strong enough not to be consumed. That rare combination can make your presence deeply attractive. People desire what is not easily owned. People desire what is not easily owned because the human mind places higher value on what cannot be casually controlled. When something feels too available, too predictable, or too easy to possess, people may enjoy it, but they do not always respect it deeply. This is not because people are heartless. It is because desire often grows around value, and value is strengthened when access requires care, patience, and effort. In attraction, this secret is powerful because people do not only want attention, they want attention that feels meaningful. If someone senses that your time, affection, body, emotions, and loyalty can be claimed with little effort, your presence may begin to feel less rare. But when they feel that closeness to you must be earned through consistency, respect, and emotional maturity, they begin to treat your access differently. Not being easily owned does not mean acting arrogant, cold, or impossible to reach. It means you do not hand over your entire self just because someone shows temporary interest. You do not make another person the owner of your mood, choices, confidence, or direction. You can love, care, and connect, but you still remain rooted in yourself. That kind of independence creates desire because it tells people there is more to you than availability. You are not a prize to be grabbed quickly. You are a person with standards, depth, and a life that cannot be fully consumed by someone else's attention. People desire what is not easily owned because it makes them feel the weight of access. When they cannot control you through charm, silence, pressure, or mixed signals, they begin to sense your value more clearly. And once someone understands that your presence is a privilege, not property, their desire often becomes stronger. Calmly walking away creates power. Calmly walking away creates power because it shows that your emotions do not control your dignity. Many people leave with anger, threats, long explanations, or desperate attempts to make the other person feel guilty. But a calm exit carries a different kind of weight. It does not beg to be understood. It does not fight to be valued. It simply shows that you have reached a point where your peace matters more than proving your pain. This kind of power is deeply attractive because it reveals self-control. When someone expects you to argue, chase, cry, plead, or collapse, and you choose calm distance instead, it interrupts their control over the situation. They may not admit it, but they feel the difference. A person who can walk away without losing themselves becomes harder to manipulate, harder to dismiss, and harder to forget. Calmly walking away also creates emotional consequence. When you stay too long where you are being disrespected, your presence can start to feel guaranteed. But when you remove yourself quietly, the other person begins to feel the absence of what they once had access to. Your silence becomes louder than your explanations. Your distance becomes clearer than your complaints. This does not mean leaving to punish people or create fear. It means knowing when your words have been ignored enough. It means understanding that not every connection deserves endless repair. Sometimes, the most powerful thing you can do is stop trying to convince someone to treat you properly. Calmly walking away creates power because it proves that you are not trapped by attachment. You may care, but you are not owned by your feelings. You may feel hurt, but you will not abandon yourself to keep someone close. That quiet strength can leave a lasting mark. Approval loses power when you stop needing it. Approval loses power when you stop needing it, because the moment you no longer depend on people's validation to feel worthy, they lose the ability to control your emotional state. Many people live as if every compliment gives them life and every criticism takes life away. They become addicted to being liked, chosen, praised, and understood. But when approval becomes a need, it quietly turns other people into owners of your confidence. This is why not needing approval creates attraction. It makes your presence feel grounded. You are no longer bending your personality to fit every room. You are no longer changing your opinions just to avoid rejection. You are no longer performing a version of yourself that feels acceptable to everyone but exhausting to you. That kind of freedom can be felt before it is explained. People are drawn to those who do not panic when they are not celebrated. When you stop needing approval, your choices become cleaner, your words become stronger, your silence becomes calmer. You can accept praise without becoming dependent on it, and you can receive criticism without falling apart. That balance makes you harder to manipulate because people cannot easily reward you into obedience or shame you into shrinking. This does not mean becoming arrogant or acting like no one matters. It means your self-worth is not begging at the door of public opinion. You can care about people, respect feedback, and still remain loyal to yourself. Approval loses power when you stop needing it because your identity returns to your own hands. You stop asking every person to confirm what you should already know. And when someone carries that kind of inner permission, their presence becomes magnetic because they are no longer chasing acceptance. They are living from self-respect. Purpose makes you hard to ignore. Purpose makes you hard to ignore because it gives your presence direction. When someone lives without purpose, their energy can feel scattered. They react to everything, chase every feeling, and wait for other people to give their life meaning. But when a person has purpose, something changes. Their time feels intentional. Their choices feel stronger. Their attention feels more valuable because it is not thrown everywhere. People can sense when your life is moving toward something. This is why purpose creates attraction. It tells others that you are not empty, bored, or waiting to be rescued. You have something that pulls you forward beyond romance, attention, or approval. That makes you feel fuller as a person. You are not just trying to be liked. You are building, learning, improving, creating, healing, or becoming something. That inner movement makes people curious because they want to understand what drives you. Purpose also creates emotional strength. When you know where you are going, rejection does not destroy you as easily. Silence does not make you lose yourself. Mixed signals do not become the center of your life. You may feel things deeply, but your whole world does not stop because one person failed to give you attention. That kind of grounded energy is powerful. People are drawn to those who are committed to something meaningful because it suggests discipline, identity, and depth. A purposeful person does not need to shout for attention. Their focus speaks. Their consistency speaks. Their refusal to waste their life on empty distractions speaks. Purpose makes you hard to ignore because it gives your presence weight. People may overlook beauty, charm, or noise after a while, but they remember the person who seemed driven by something deeper than being noticed. Not over-explaining creates mystery. Not over-explaining creates mystery because people become more curious when they cannot access every thought, reason, and emotion inside you immediately. Many people explain too much because they are afraid of being misunderstood, rejected, or judged. They give long reasons for simple choices, defend every silence, and try to make everyone see their intentions clearly. But when you explain everything, you remove the space where curiosity grows. Mystery does not come from acting cold or hiding who you are. It comes from knowing that not every part of you needs to be placed in someone's hands too quickly. When you stop over-explaining, your words begin to feel more valuable. People listen more closely because you are not constantly pouring out details just to feel accepted. Your silence becomes thoughtful, your answers become cleaner, your presence begins to feel layered. This is powerful in attraction because the mind is drawn to gaps. When someone senses there is more to you than what you have said, they begin to wonder. They think about your choices, your calmness, your boundaries, and your private thoughts. You become more interesting because you are not fully predictable. They cannot reduce you to one conversation or one explanation. Over-explaining can sometimes make you look uncertain, even when you are right. It can make people feel as if your truth needs approval before it can stand. But when you speak simply and stop defending every part of yourself, you create emotional authority. Not over-explaining creates mystery because it shows that you are not begging to be understood by everyone. You give enough to be clear, but not so much that you lose your power. And that restraint can make people want to understand you even more. Calm energy makes people open up. Calm energy makes people open up because people reveal themselves most deeply where they feel emotionally safe. When someone carries tense, rushed, judgmental, or needy energy, others may speak, but they usually protect themselves while speaking. They choose their words carefully. They hide the softer parts. They avoid saying what they truly feel because they sense that the other person may react too strongly, interrupt too quickly, or make the moment about themselves. Calm energy works differently. It tells people, without words, that they do not have to defend themselves around you. Your presence does not feel like pressure. Your silence does not feel like judgment. Your attention does not feel like a trap. This creates a quiet, emotional permission for people to say more than they planned. This is powerful in attraction because people often bond with the person who makes them feel understood. When someone opens up to you, they are not only sharing information, they are creating emotional investment. They begin to associate your presence with relief, honesty, and comfort. They may not understand why they trust you so quickly, but their nervous system feels less guarded around your calmness. Calm energy also makes your words feel stronger because you are not forcing connection. You are allowing it. You listen without rushing to fix everything. You respond without turning their pain into a performance. You hold the moment without making them regret being vulnerable. This kind of presence is rare because many people listen only to reply, impress, or control the conversation. But calm energy listens to understand. That difference is felt deeply. Calm energy makes people open up because it gives them room to be real. And when someone feels safe enough to be real around you, they often begin to feel closer to you than they expected. Independence makes connection feel chosen. Independence makes connection feel chosen because it shows that you are not attaching yourself to someone out of emptiness. Many people mistake need for love, dependence for loyalty, and constant access for closeness. But when someone senses that you have your own life, your own mind, your own direction, and your own emotional center, the connection begins to feel different. It feels intentional, not forced. This kind of attraction is powerful because independence removes pressure. You are not asking someone to become your whole world. You are not making them responsible for your mood, identity, confidence, or happiness. You can enjoy their presence without making them feel trapped by your need. That freedom makes people relax around you because they know your interest is not coming from desperation. Independence also makes your affection more valuable. When you choose someone while still being complete on your own, your attention feels deeper. It says, I do not need you to complete me, but I value what you bring into my life. That kind of energy can be more attractive than constant chasing because it makes the other person feel selected, not used as emotional medicine. A dependent person often clings because they fear losing access. An independent person connects because they genuinely want to. That difference is felt. People can sense when love is being offered from fullness instead of fear. They can feel when your presence is a choice instead of a survival need. Independence makes connection feel chosen because it keeps desire alive without turning closeness into pressure. You can care deeply, but still stand firmly in yourself. And when someone feels that you are with them because you choose them, not because you cannot be alone, the connection becomes more respectful, more attractive, and harder to fake. Be present, not clingy. Be present, not clingy, because attraction grows best when people feel your attention without feeling trapped by it. Presence is warm. It listens, notices, remembers, and responds with care. Clinginess is different. It holds too tightly, checks too often, needs constant reassurance, and turns connection into pressure. The difference may seem small, but emotionally, people feel it very quickly. Being present means you are truly there when you are with someone. You are not distracted, not performing, not waiting for your turn to speak. You make the other person feel seen in that moment. Your attention feels calm and focused. This creates safety because people can sense that you are engaged without trying to own them. Clinginess, however, often comes from fear. Fear of being forgotten, fear of being replaced, fear that if you do not stay close every second, the connection will disappear. But that fear can make your energy feel heavy. Instead of making someone feel loved, it may make them feel responsible for keeping you emotionally stable. This is why presence is more attractive than pressure. A present person gives warmth, then allows space. They do not punish distance. They do not panic during silence. They do not turn every delay, every mood, or every busy moment into proof that something is wrong. That emotional steadiness makes them easier to trust. Being present also makes your attention feel valuable because it is not desperate. You can care deeply without losing yourself. You can show interest without chasing. You can enjoy closeness without demanding constant access. Be present, not clingy, because people are drawn to the energy that makes them feel seen and free at the same time. When your presence feels peaceful instead of possessive, people naturally want to come closer. Limited access feels more valuable. Limited access feels more valuable because people naturally respect what they cannot reach anytime they want. When your time, attention, emotions, and presence are always available, they can slowly begin to feel ordinary, even to people who once wanted them badly. This does not mean you are not valuable. It means unlimited access can make value feel too easy to forget. In attraction, access matters because the human mind pays closer attention to what feels rare. If someone knows they can treat you carelessly, disappear when they want, return when they are bored, and still receive the same open door, your presence may start to feel guaranteed. But when access to you depends on respect, consistency, and emotional maturity, people begin to feel the weight of being close to you. Limited access is not about playing games or pretending to be unavailable. That kind of behavior can feel fake and immature. Real limited access comes from having a life, standards, priorities, and self-respect. You are not withholding yourself to create panic. You are simply not giving everyone the same level of closeness. Some people deserve kindness from a distance. Some deserve basic respect. Very few deserve your deeper emotional world. This creates attraction because it makes your attention feel chosen, not automatic. A message from you means more. Time with you feels more intentional. Your affection carries more weight because it is not being handed out without discernment. Limited access feels more valuable because it teaches people that closeness to you is not a right, it is a privilege. When people understand that your presence cannot be taken for granted, they become more careful with it. And the more careful they become, the more powerful your energy feels. Softness with boundaries feels powerful. Softness with boundaries feels powerful because it carries both warmth and self-respect at the same time. Many people think softness means being endlessly available, endlessly forgiving, and endlessly understanding, even when they are being hurt. But real softness is not weakness. Real softness is the ability to remain kind without becoming easy to control. It is the ability to care deeply without allowing someone to misuse your heart. This kind of attraction feels rare because people are used to extremes. Some are warm but have no limits, so others slowly take them for granted. Some have limits but no warmth, so they feel distant and difficult to approach. But a person who can be gentle while still having standards creates a powerful emotional contrast. They feel safe but not easy, loving but not desperate, open but not unprotected. Softness with boundaries makes people respect your kindness more. When you are caring but still able to say no, your affection feels chosen. When you are patient but still able to walk away from disrespect, your patience feels valuable. When you listen, but refuse to become someone's emotional dumping ground, your presence feels peaceful and strong. This also creates attraction because it shows emotional maturity. You are not bitter, but you are not blind. You are not cold, but you are not careless with yourself. People can feel that your heart is available only where there is respect. That makes your closeness feel like something to honor, not something to consume. Softness with boundaries feels powerful because it proves that you can love without losing yourself. Your warmth invites people closer, but your standards teach them how to treat you when they arrive. Listening beats trying to impress. Listening beats trying to impress because people are rarely moved by someone who is only waiting for a chance to prove themselves. Many people enter conversations trying to sound smart, attractive, funny, successful, or mysterious. They speak to be admired, not to understand. But the problem is that people can feel when your attention is not really on them. They can sense when you are performing instead of connecting. True listening creates a deeper kind of attraction because it makes the other person feel important without being overwhelmed. When you listen well, you are not just hearing words. You are noticing tone, pauses, emotions, hidden meanings, and the things they are afraid to say directly. That kind of attention feels rare because many people are used to being heard only halfway. They talk, but others interrupt. They share, but others turn the conversation back to themselves. Trying to impress can catch attention for a moment, but listening builds emotional memory. A person may forget the clever thing you said, but they will remember that you made them feel understood. They will remember that you did not rush them, judge them, or compete with their story. They will remember that your presence gave them room to be real. This is powerful because people open up around those who make them feel seen. Once someone feels seen by you, they often begin to attach meaning to your presence. They may start looking forward to your conversations because being around you feels relieving, not exhausting. Listening beats trying to impress because impressing says, "Look at me," but listening says, "I see you." And that difference can quietly separate you from everyone else. People are drawn to the person who makes them feel understood without forcing attention back onto themselves. People love feeling truly seen. People love feeling truly seen because most people move through life feeling only partly noticed. They may be looked at, spoken to, complimented, or judged, but not deeply understood. There is a difference between someone noticing your face and someone noticing your mood. There is a difference between someone hearing your words and someone sensing what you were too tired, proud, or afraid to say directly. This is why making someone feel truly seen creates powerful attraction. It reaches a place beyond surface charm. When you remember small details, notice emotional shifts, understand what matters to them, and respond to the person behind the performance, they begin to feel safe around you. They feel that they do not have to fight so hard to be understood. Many people are used to being treated like a role: the funny one, the strong one, the quiet one, the successful one, the difficult one. But when someone sees beyond that role, it can feel deeply moving. It makes a person feel real again. It tells them, "I noticed the part of you other people rush past." This kind of attention is attractive because it creates emotional intimacy without forcing it. You do not need dramatic words or intense confessions. Sometimes, one accurate observation can make someone feel closer to you than a long conversation with someone else. Being truly seen can feel like relief, especially to a person who has spent years feeling misunderstood. People love feeling truly seen because it gives them something rare: recognition without performance. When your presence makes someone feel understood, accepted, and gently uncovered, they begin to associate you with emotional safety. And once someone feels seen by you in a way they rarely feel seen by others, your presence becomes difficult to forget. Options. Make your interest feel special. Options make your interest feel special because people feel the difference between being chosen and being settled for. When someone senses that you have no other direction, no other joy, no other attention, and no other life outside them, your interest can begin to feel less like desire and more like dependence. But when they sense that you have choices, standards, and a full life, your attention carries a different weight. It feels intentional. This does not mean showing off other people, creating jealousy, or making someone feel replaceable. That kind of behavior can feel immature and insecure. Real options are quieter than that. They come from knowing that your life does not collapse around one person's approval. You have friendships, goals, passions, responsibilities, and self-respect. You are not waiting helplessly for one person to give you emotional meaning. When someone realizes that your attention is not coming from loneliness, they value it more. They understand that you are not interested because you have nothing else. You are interested because something about them genuinely caught your mind. That makes your presence feel more personal. Your message feels more meaningful. Your compliment feels more honest. Your time feels like something they should not waste. Options also create emotional security inside you. You do not need to force connection because you know life still has movement even if one person pulls away. This makes your energy calmer, lighter, and more attractive. You can care without clinging. You can show interest without fear. You can walk toward someone without abandoning yourself. Options make your interest feel special because they turn attention into a choice. And when someone feels chosen by a person who does not need to choose anyone, the attraction can become much deeper. Not reacting gives emotional authority. Not reacting gives emotional authority because it shows that people cannot easily pull you out of yourself. Many people lose power the moment they are provoked. One rude comment, one cold reply, one disrespectful tone, or one small delay can make them explain too much, defend too quickly, or reveal emotions they later regret. But when you do not react instantly, you create a pause between what happened and who you choose to become in response. This kind of control is powerful because it makes people feel that your emotions are not easily hijacked. You are not numb. You are not pretending nothing matters. You simply refuse to let every situation control your behavior. That restraint creates respect because it shows inner leadership. You are not being dragged by anger, fear, jealousy, or insecurity. In attraction, not reacting creates curiosity. People begin to wonder what you are thinking, what you noticed, and why you are not giving them the dramatic response they expected. If someone tries to test you, pressure you, or make you chase, your calmness interrupts the pattern. Suddenly, they cannot predict you. They cannot easily control the emotional temperature of the connection. Not reacting also protects your dignity. When you respond from panic, you may give away too much power. You may say things that make you look desperate, wounded, or unstable. But when you stay composed, you keep your image intact. You give yourself time to choose words, silence, distance, or action from a place of strength. Not reacting gives emotional authority because it proves that your peace has leadership over your impulses. You are not easy to provoke, rush, or control. And when people sense that kind of emotional discipline in you, your presence begins to feel stronger, calmer, and harder to dismiss. Peace can be deeply attractive. Peace can be deeply attractive because many people are exhausted by emotional noise. They have been around people who turn every small issue into conflict, every silence into suspicion, and every disagreement into a battle. So when they meet someone whose energy feels calm, steady, and safe, it touches something inside them. Peace may not always look dramatic, but it can feel like relief to a tired heart. This kind of attraction is powerful because peace gives people room to breathe. A peaceful person does not make others feel like they must perform, defend, explain, or prove themselves every second. Their presence feels gentle without being weak. They can listen without judging, disagree without attacking, and care without creating pressure. That emotional steadiness makes people feel safe enough to relax. Peace also creates curiosity because it suggests inner strength. People begin to wonder how you stay grounded when others are easily shaken. They wonder what you know, what you have survived, and why you do not need chaos to feel alive. That quiet control can become more magnetic than loud charm because it feels rare. Many people are attracted to excitement at first, but over time, they crave peace. Excitement may awaken the heart, but peace makes the heart want to stay. A person who brings peace does not drain the room. They do not make love feel like survival. They make connection feel like rest. Peace can be deeply attractive because it gives people something they may not even know they need. It makes your presence feel like safety, softness, and quiet strength at the same time. And when someone begins to associate you with calm in a world that constantly overwhelms them, they may find themselves drawn to you more deeply than they expected. Natural confidence feels magnetic. Natural confidence feels magnetic because it does not look like performance. It does not need to be loud, forced, or constantly proven. Some people try to appear confident by dominating conversations, showing off, correcting others, or acting like they are above everyone else. But that kind of confidence often feels heavy because it is built for display. Natural confidence feels different. It moves quietly, and people notice it without being pressured to admire it. A naturally confident person does not need every room to validate them. They can speak without sounding desperate to be right. They can listen without feeling invisible. They can accept compliments without becoming addicted to them, and they can accept criticism without collapsing. That emotional balance makes their presence feel safe, steady, and attractive. This kind of confidence is powerful because it creates ease. People relax around someone who is not constantly trying to prove their worth. There is no hidden competition in their energy. They do not make others feel small just to feel important. Instead, they carry themselves like someone who is already enough, and that quiet certainty can pull people in. Natural confidence also creates curiosity. When someone is comfortable in themselves, people begin to wonder what gives them that stability. They sense that this person is not acting for attention. Their calmness feels real. Their smile feels unforced. Their words feel chosen, not rehearsed. That kind of authenticity is rare, and rare things naturally attract. Natural confidence feels magnetic because it gives people the feeling that you are grounded without being arrogant. You do not need to chase approval, prove your value, or perform strength. You simply carry yourself with quiet self-trust. And when confidence feels natural instead of manufactured, people are drawn to it because it feels peaceful, powerful, and real. Rare approval feels powerful. Rare approval feels powerful because people value praise more when they know it is not given carelessly. When someone approves of everything, compliments everyone, and reacts with excitement to every small thing, their approval may feel nice, but it can lose emotional weight. It becomes expected. It becomes easy. But when approval comes from someone who is observant, selective, and not easily impressed, it lands differently. It feels earned. This is why rare approval can create strong attraction. People want to feel noticed, but they also want to feel that what you noticed was real. A compliment from someone who praises everyone may pass through the mind quickly, but a compliment from someone who rarely gives empty words can stay there for days. The person begins to replay it, not because the words were dramatic, but because they felt chosen. Rare approval also creates curiosity. When people know you are not easily moved, they begin to wonder what it takes to truly impress you. They pay closer attention to how you respond. They notice when you smile, when you listen longer, when you give a small sign of respect. Your approval becomes powerful because it is not loud or desperate. It is controlled. This does not mean withholding kindness to make people chase you. That would feel manipulative. Real rare approval comes from honesty. You do not praise to flatter. You praise when something genuinely stands out. That sincerity makes your words feel heavier. Rare approval feels powerful because it tells people that your attention has standards. When you finally recognize something in them, it feels personal. It feels like they reached a part of you that does not open for everyone, and that can make your approval unforgettable. A little unpredictability keeps interest alive. A little unpredictability keeps interest alive because the human mind gets bored when everything becomes too easy to guess. When someone can predict every reaction, every message, every mood, every answer, and every move you will make, the connection can slowly lose tension. It may still feel comfortable, but comfort without curiosity can become routine. Attraction needs some familiarity, but it also needs a small sense of discovery. This does not mean acting confusing, inconsistent, or emotionally unstable. That kind of unpredictability can make people feel unsafe, not attracted. Real unpredictability is not about creating anxiety. It is about having enough depth, independence, and emotional range that people cannot reduce you to one simple pattern. You are warm, but not always available. You are kind, but not endlessly permissive. You are calm, but not boring. You are open, but not completely revealed. This keeps interest alive because people are drawn to layers. When someone feels there is still more to learn about you, their attention stays active. They wonder what you think, what you will say, what you enjoy, what you notice, and what side of you they have not yet seen. That wondering creates emotional movement, and emotional movement keeps attraction from going flat. A little unpredictability also protects you from becoming too easy to control. If people know exactly how to get your attention, trigger your emotions, or make you chase, they may stop respecting your inner world. But when your responses come from choice instead of habit, your presence feels stronger. A little unpredictability keeps interest alive because it reminds people that you are not a script they have already memorized. You are a person with depth, rhythm, and private layers, and when people feel they are still discovering you, they stay curious longer. Steadiness makes people feel safe. Steadiness makes people feel safe because people relax around energy they do not have to fear. Many people have been around moods that change too quickly, affection that disappears without warning, and reactions that make every conversation feel risky. So when they meet someone steady, someone whose presence does not swing wildly between warmth and distance, calm and anger, interest and confusion, it creates a deep emotional relief. This kind of attraction is powerful because safety is not boring to a tired heart. It feels like peace. A steady person does not make others keep guessing which version of them will appear today. They are not perfect, but they are consistent enough to be trusted. Their words and actions are not always fighting each other. Their affection does not feel like a reward one day and a punishment the next. Steadiness also makes people open up slowly. When someone feels that you will not mock their feelings, punish their honesty, or disappear the moment things become serious, they begin to lower their guard. They feel they can breathe around you. They feel they can be honest without preparing for emotional danger. That kind of safety can create a bond stronger than excitement alone. In attraction, excitement may pull people close at first, but steadiness makes them want to stay. A person may enjoy mystery, charm, or intensity, but deep down, they remember who made them feel emotionally secure. Steadiness tells people, you do not have to fight for calm here. Steadiness makes people feel safe because it proves that your presence is not a storm they must survive. It is a place where their nervous system can rest. And when someone feels safe around you, your presence becomes more than attractive. It becomes something they quietly crave. Enjoying yourself makes you feel complete. Enjoying yourself makes you feel complete because it shows that your happiness is not waiting helplessly in someone else's hands. Many people become less attractive without realizing it because they treat life like something that only begins when someone chooses them, texts them, praises them, or gives them attention. Their mood rises and falls based on outside reaction. But when you can enjoy your own company, your own interests, your own humor, and your own rhythm, your presence begins to feel fuller. This kind of energy is magnetic because it shows emotional independence. You are not moving through life like an empty space begging to be filled. You already have something alive inside you. You can laugh without needing an audience. You can enjoy small moments without turning everything into a search for validation. That kind of inner contentment makes people curious because it feels rare. People are often drawn to those who seem genuinely alive in themselves. When you enjoy yourself, your energy becomes lighter. You are less likely to pressure others, cling to them, or make them responsible for your joy. This makes connection feel easier around you. People do not feel trapped by your need. They feel invited into your world. Enjoying yourself also makes your attention more valuable. When you choose to spend time with someone, it does not feel like you are using them to escape loneliness. It feels like you are sharing a life that already has color. That makes your presence feel more attractive because you are not asking someone to complete you. Enjoying yourself makes you feel complete because it tells the world that you are not waiting to be saved. You are already living, already becoming, already whole enough to be happy. And that wholeness quietly pulls people closer. Chemistry grows when it is not forced. Chemistry grows when it is not forced because real attraction needs space to breathe. Many people destroy the natural pull between two people by trying too hard to create it. They overtext, over-explain, over-flirt, over-plan, and over-analyze every reaction. Instead of allowing the connection to unfold, they start managing it like a performance. And once attraction feels pressured, it can quickly lose its ease. True chemistry often begins in moments that are not controlled. A shared laugh, a comfortable silence, a look that lasts a little longer than expected, a conversation that flows without anyone trying to impress too much. These small moments work because they feel natural. They make both people feel that something is happening on its own, not because one person is pushing it into existence. Forcing chemistry usually comes from fear. Fear that the other person will lose interest. Fear that silence means failure. Fear that if you do not keep proving yourself, the connection will fade. But fear creates tension, and tension can make even a promising connection feel heavy. When someone feels that you are trying to force closeness, they may begin to pull away, Not because they dislike you, but because the pressure makes the experience uncomfortable. Unforced chemistry feels different. It allows curiosity to build. It gives people room to miss you, think about you, and move toward you willingly. You show interest, but you do not squeeze the connection. You enjoy the moment, but you do not demand that it become something immediately. Chemistry grows when it is not forced because attraction is strongest when it feels chosen, not manufactured. When two people feel free, relaxed, and unpressured around each other, the connection has room to become deeper, warmer, and more memorable. Private joy is quietly attractive. Private joy is quietly attractive because it shows that your happiness is not only alive when people are watching. Many people perform happiness for attention. They smile for approval, laugh to be liked, post to be validated, and only seem alive when someone is praising them. But private joy is different. It is the kind of happiness that exists even when there is no audience. It comes from your own inner world, your own small pleasures, your own peace, and your own ability to enjoy life without needing applause. This kind of joy is powerful because it feels genuine. When someone can enjoy music alone, laugh at their own thoughts, take pleasure in simple routines, or feel grateful without announcing it to everyone, their energy becomes lighter. They do not seem empty. They do not seem like they are begging the world to make them feel alive. They carry life within themselves, and people can sense that. Private joy also creates curiosity. Others begin to wonder what makes you so content. They wonder what you are thinking, what you enjoy, what gives you that quiet spark. You are not forcing excitement, yet something about you feels warm. That warmth can pull people in because it feels peaceful, not demanding. In attraction, private joy matters because people are drawn to those who do not make them responsible for their happiness. When your joy already exists, connection with you feels like an addition, not a burden. People feel invited into your world, not pressured to complete it. Private joy is quietly attractive because it reveals wholeness. It tells people that your life has color, even when no one is clapping. And when someone carries happiness from within, their presence becomes softer, fuller, and harder to ignore. Selective attention feels special. Selective attention feels special because people value attention more when they know it is not given to everyone the same way. When someone is friendly, available, interested, and emotionally open to everybody without distinction, their attention may feel pleasant, but it may not feel personal. It becomes ordinary because nothing separates one person from another. But when your attention is thoughtful, focused, and intentional, it carries emotional weight. This is powerful in attraction because people want to feel chosen, not randomly noticed. They want to feel that something about them caught your mind differently. When you remember a detail they mentioned once, notice a change in their mood, compliment something others overlook, or give them your full presence in a noisy room, they begin to feel special around you. They feel seen in a way that does not feel cheap. Selective attention does not mean being rude, cold, or dismissive to others. It means your deeper energy is not scattered everywhere. You can be kind to many people, but emotionally focused with only a few. That difference makes your interest feel more meaningful because it shows discernment. You are not chasing connection with anyone who gives you a little attention. You are choosing where your energy goes. This also creates curiosity. When people sense that your attention is not automatic, they become more aware when they receive it. A look from you feels heavier. A message from you feels more intentional. A compliment from you feels more honest because it is not part of a routine you give to everyone. Selective attention feels special because it makes people feel separated from the crowd, and when someone feels that your focus has chosen them out of many possibilities, your presence becomes more memorable, more desirable, and more emotionally powerful. Not competing for attention attracts it. Not competing for attention attracts it because people notice the person who does not seem hungry for the spotlight. In every room, there are usually people trying hard to be seen. They speak louder, perform more, interrupt conversations, exaggerate stories, or constantly look for validation. At first, this may catch attention, but over time, it can feel exhausting. The person who does not compete carries a different kind of energy. They feel calm, secure, and harder to ignore. This works because not competing creates contrast. When everyone is trying to prove they are interesting, the person who remains grounded becomes the mystery. They are not begging the room to choose them. They are not adjusting themselves every second to win approval. They are simply present, comfortable, and self-contained. That quiet self-possession makes people curious. In attraction, this is powerful because attention that is not chased often feels more valuable. When you do not fight for every glance, laugh, reply, or compliment, people begin to sense that you are not desperate. You may enjoy being noticed, but you do not need it to feel whole. That emotional independence makes your presence stronger because your confidence is not being rented from other people's reactions. Not competing also makes your energy easier to respect. You can celebrate others without feeling smaller. You can listen without needing to outshine. You can enter a room without trying to dominate it. This kind of calm confidence often draws more attention than performance because it feels real. Not competing for attention attracts it because people are pulled toward those who do not seem controlled by the need to be seen. When your worth is not begging from the crowd, your presence becomes quieter, stronger, and more magnetic. People may first notice the loudest person, but they often remember the one who never had to compete. Light energy makes people return. Light energy makes people return because people remember who made life feel easier, not heavier. Many connections begin with attraction, but they continue because of emotional experience. When your presence feels calm, warm, playful, and easy to be around, people begin to associate you with relief. They do not feel like they have to prepare themselves before speaking to you. They do not feel judged, drained, or pressured. They feel that being around you gives them a break from the weight of life. This kind of energy is powerful because many people are already carrying stress, disappointment, fear, and silent emotional tiredness. When they meet someone who does not add more heaviness to their spirit, that person becomes memorable. Light energy does not mean being shallow or pretending everything is perfect. It means you know how to bring ease without ignoring depth. You can laugh, listen, encourage, and make people feel comfortable without forcing attention onto yourself. In attraction, light energy creates emotional return. People may be impressed by beauty, confidence, or mystery at first, but they come back to the person who made them feel good in a simple, natural way. They return to the conversations that did not feel like work. They return to the smile that felt genuine. They return to the presence that made their nervous system relax. Heavy energy often demands too much too soon. It turns every silence into a problem, every delay into rejection, and every interaction into emotional pressure. Light energy gives space. It lets connection breathe. Light energy makes people return because it gives them something rare: comfort without boredom, warmth without neediness, and joy without pressure. When someone feels lighter after being with you, your presence becomes something they quietly want again. Quiet ambition feels magnetic. Quiet ambition feels magnetic because it shows that you are building something without needing to announce every step. Some people talk loudly about their dreams, their plans, their future, and their greatness, but their energy feels more like performance than purpose. Quiet ambition is different. It does not beg for applause. It does not need everyone to know what is happening behind the scenes. It simply moves with focus. This kind of ambition is attractive because it creates curiosity. People can sense when you are working toward something, even if you do not explain everything. Your discipline shows in your habits. Your standards show in your choices. Your focus shows in how you protect your time. That silent movement makes people wonder what you are becoming, what you are chasing, and what kind of inner fire keeps you going without constant validation. Quiet ambition also feels powerful because it is not desperate for attention. You are not trying to impress people with unfinished dreams. You are not using big words to cover empty action. You are allowing your consistency to speak. That makes your presence feel grounded because people can feel that your confidence is connected to effort, not noise. In attraction, quiet ambition gives your life weight. It tells others that you are not just waiting to be chosen. You are creating, growing, improving, and moving toward a future. That makes connection with you feel more meaningful because you are not empty. You have direction. Quiet ambition feels magnetic because it combines mystery with purpose. You are not loud, but you are not passive. You are not showing off, but you are not standing still. And when people sense that you are becoming something in silence, they often become curious enough to watch you more closely. Emotional maturity feels rare. Emotional maturity feels rare because many people grow older without learning how to handle their feelings with dignity. They may know how to speak, impress, attract, and perform. But they still fall apart when they are disappointed. They become defensive when corrected, cold when hurt, jealous when uncertain, and cruel when they feel powerless. So when someone meets a person who can feel deeply without becoming destructive, it creates a powerful emotional impact. This kind of maturity is attractive because it brings peace into connection. An emotionally mature person does not turn every disagreement into war. They do not punish people with silence just to feel powerful. They do not use vulnerability as a weapon, and they do not make others responsible for wounds they have not healed. Their presence feels steady because they know how to pause, reflect, communicate, and take responsibility. Emotional maturity also makes people feel safe. When someone senses that you can handle honesty without exploding, distance without panicking, and conflict without losing respect, they begin to relax around you. They do not feel like they must constantly manage your emotions. They can be real with you, and that makes the connection deeper. This is rare because emotional maturity requires self-awareness. It means knowing when your pride is speaking. It means apologizing without making excuses. It means setting boundaries without cruelty. It means walking away without revenge. It means understanding that being hurt does not give you permission to hurt others. Emotional maturity feels rare because it shows that your heart has discipline. You are not controlled by every trigger, mood, or fear. You can care without clinging, speak without attacking, and leave without destroying. And when people experience that kind of emotional safety, they often find it more attractive than charm, beauty, or excitement. A real smile can disarm people. A real smile can disarm people because it reaches them before your words do. Many people walk through life guarded, suspicious, tired, or emotionally prepared to protect themselves. They expect judgment. They expect pressure. They expect people to want something from them. But when they meet a smile that feels genuine, warm, and unforced, something inside them softens. It tells their mind, this person may be safe. This is powerful because a real smile creates instant emotional ease. It does not demand anything. It does not try too hard. It simply opens the atmosphere between two people. A forced smile can feel empty, but a real smile carries feeling. It shows in the eyes, the face, the timing, and the calmness behind it. People may not consciously study it, but they can feel the difference. In attraction, a real smile can make someone feel accepted before a deeper connection even begins. It can lower tension, make conversation easier, and turn a simple moment into something memorable. A person may forget what you said first, but they may remember how your smile made them feel less guarded. That feeling can become the beginning of curiosity. A real smile also shows quiet confidence. It says you are comfortable enough to be warm. You are not hiding behind coldness, arrogance, or emotional distance. You can show softness without seeming desperate. That balance makes your presence feel approachable, but still grounded. A real smile can disarm people because it removes invisible walls. It makes others feel seen without being pressured, welcomed without being chased, and noticed without being judged. And when someone feels their guard drop around you, even for a moment, your presence can stay in their mind longer than you expect. Keeping promises builds attraction. Keeping promises builds attraction because trust is one of the strongest forms of emotional pull. Many people can speak beautifully, flirt well, make big claims, and say all the right things in the moment. But words lose power when they are not supported by action. When someone says they will do something and actually does it, their presence begins to feel different. They become dependable, and dependability can be deeply attractive. This works because consistency makes people feel safe. When your actions match your words, others do not have to keep guessing who you are. They do not have to wonder whether your interest is real, whether your care is temporary, or whether your promises were only emotional performance. Every kept promise becomes quiet proof that your character has weight. In attraction, this matters more than many people realize. Excitement may create interest, but reliability creates attachment. A person may be drawn to charm at first, but they stay connected to the one whose behavior feels steady. When you keep promises, even small ones, you show that your attention is not careless. You show that people can trust your words without needing to protect themselves from disappointment. Keeping promises also makes your presence feel rare because many people are used to inconsistency. They have heard beautiful words that disappeared. They have believed people who changed overnight. So when you become someone whose words can be trusted, you stand out without trying too hard. Keeping promises builds attraction because it turns your character into comfort. You are no longer just interesting. You become safe. You are no longer just charming. You become believable. And when someone begins to feel that your words have truth behind them, their respect, desire, and emotional connection often grow stronger. Self-respect teaches others your value. Self-respect teaches others your value because people often learn how to treat you by watching how you treat yourself. If you keep accepting disrespect, chasing unavailable people, explaining your worth to those who ignore it, and staying where your peace is constantly damaged, others may begin to believe that access to you has no cost. Not because you have no value, but because you keep behaving as if your value can be negotiated. This is why self-respect is so attractive. It creates a clear emotional standard around you. People begin to sense that your time, attention, loyalty, and affection are not things they can receive while treating you carelessly. You can be kind, forgiving, and patient, but you are not endlessly available for confusion, disrespect, or emotional neglect. That balance makes your presence feel stronger. Self-respect also changes the way people see your affection. When you love without losing yourself, your love feels powerful. When you give without begging, your giving feels generous. When you stay calm without tolerating poor treatment, your calmness feels mature. People begin to understand that your softness is not weakness. It is something protected by standards. This does not mean acting superior or making others feel small. Real self-respect is quiet. It does not need to insult, threaten, or prove. It simply chooses peace when chaos becomes too expensive. It chooses distance when closeness becomes disrespectful. It chooses dignity when attachment starts asking you to betray yourself. Self-respect teaches others your value because it shows them what you will and will not normalize. When you honor your own presence, people feel the boundary around it. And once they understand that being close to you requires care, they begin to treat your energy with more respect. Stable energy beats needy energy. Stable energy beats needy energy because people feel the difference between being loved and being emotionally pulled on. Needy energy often comes from fear. Fear of being ignored, replaced, abandoned, forgotten, or not being enough. It may look like constant texting, over-explaining, asking for reassurance again and again, or becoming anxious when someone does not respond the way you hoped. Even when the heart behind it is sincere, the feeling it creates can become heavy. Stable energy works differently. It gives people warmth without pressure. It shows interest without panic. It allows closeness without trying to control every moment. A stable person can care deeply, but they do not make someone else responsible for keeping their whole emotional world together. That kind of calmness makes people feel safe instead of trapped. In attraction, stable energy is powerful because it gives connection room to breathe. When you are steady, people do not feel like every silence will become a problem. They do not feel like every delay will turn into suspicion. They do not feel like they must constantly prove that they still care. Your presence becomes easier to trust because it is not always demanding emotional payment. Needy energy can make someone feel important at first, but over time, it can feel like a burden. Stable energy creates a deeper pull because it shows self-respect. It says, "I enjoy you, but I will not lose myself inside you." That balance is attractive because it feels mature, peaceful, and emotionally safe. Stable energy beats needy energy because people return to the presence that lets them feel free. When your affection is calm instead of desperate, your interest feels more valuable. And when someone feels wanted without feeling pressured, they often move closer naturally. Love feels better without pressure. Love feels better without pressure because real connection needs freedom to breathe. When someone feels forced to reply faster, feel deeper, prove more, explain constantly, or carry another person's emotions, love can slowly start feeling like a responsibility instead of a desire. What should feel warm begins to feel heavy. What should feel safe begins to feel like a test they are afraid to fail. Pressure often comes from fear. Fear of being replaced, fear of being forgotten, fear of not being enough, or fear that the connection will disappear if it is not controlled. But the more someone tries to force closeness, the more the other person may feel trapped. They may care deeply, but pressure can make even affection feel exhausting. It turns love into something that must be managed instead of enjoyed. Love without pressure feels different. It allows people to come closer because they want to, not because they are being chased, guilted, or emotionally cornered. It gives space for honest feelings to grow naturally. It lets silence exist without panic. It lets time pass without suspicion. It lets people feel chosen instead of captured. This kind of love is attractive because it creates emotional safety. When someone feels that your affection is steady but not controlling, they relax around you. They do not feel like every small mistake will become a dramatic problem. They do not feel like your peace depends completely on their behavior. That freedom makes your presence feel lighter and more desirable. Love feels better without pressure because people are drawn to the place where they can breathe. When your care does not feel like a cage, your affection becomes easier to trust. And when someone feels free beside you, they often choose to stay closer than pressure ever could have forced them to. Strong identity makes you irreplaceable. Strong identity makes you irreplaceable because people remember those who are clearly themselves. When someone has no real sense of identity, they easily become shaped by whoever is around them. They copy opinions, change personalities, hide their values, and adjust their behavior just to be accepted. At first, this may make them easier to like, but it can also make them harder to remember. If nothing about you feels rooted, people may enjoy your presence without feeling deeply impacted by it. A strong identity creates attraction because it gives you emotional shape. You have your own voice, your own standards, your own taste, your own principles, and your own way of moving through life. You are not trying to become whatever someone else wants in the moment. That kind of groundedness makes people feel that there is something real to discover in you. This does not mean being stubborn, arrogant, or unwilling to grow. A strong identity is not a prison. It is a foundation. You can learn, adapt, listen, and change without losing the core of who you are. That balance makes you more attractive because people sense that you are open but not easily erased. In attraction, identity matters because people do not deeply desire what feels replaceable. If your energy, opinions, reactions, and presence feel like everyone else's, there is little emotional imprint. But when you carry a clear sense of self, people remember your difference. They remember how you speak, what you stand for, how you think, and how your presence feels. Strong identity makes you irreplaceable because it gives people something specific to miss. They are not just drawn to your attention, they are drawn to your essence. And when your essence is clear, grounded, and authentic, no one else can fully copy your place in someone's memory. Quiet compliments hit harder. Quiet compliments hit harder because they feel more personal, more controlled, and more sincere. Loud praise can be exciting for a moment, but it often feels like performance, especially when it is given in front of others or delivered with too much exaggeration. A quiet compliment works differently. It does not try to entertain the room. It does not seek attention for itself. It moves directly toward the person and makes them feel privately noticed. This is powerful because people often trust quiet words more than dramatic ones. When someone praises too loudly, the compliment can sometimes feel like a show, but when someone notices something specific and says it calmly, it feels deeper. It tells the person, "I saw that part of you, even if no one else did." That kind of recognition can stay in the mind longer than a big public statement. In attraction, quiet compliments create emotional intimacy. They make the other person feel chosen without making the moment feel forced. A simple, low-toned compliment about their patience, intelligence, effort, presence, or way of thinking can touch a deeper place than obvious praise about appearance. It feels like you are paying attention to who they are, not just what they display. Quiet compliments also carry weight because they show restraint. You are not throwing words everywhere to impress. You are not flattering carelessly just to be liked. You are observing, choosing, and speaking only when something feels real. That makes your praise feel earned. Quiet compliments hit harder because they feel like a secret moment of recognition. They do not overwhelm the person, they reach them. And when someone feels noticed in a quiet, specific, and sincere way, they may replay your words long after the conversation ends. Depth without chaos attracts. Depth without chaos attracts because people want to feel something real without feeling emotionally unsafe. Many people confuse depth with heaviness. They think being deep means bringing constant drama, intense pain, complicated moods, confusing behavior, or endless emotional storms into every connection. But true depth does not need chaos to prove it is real. A person can be thoughtful, sensitive, layered, and emotionally rich without making others feel drained. This kind of depth is powerful because it gives people access to meaning without pressure. You can speak about serious things without turning every conversation into sadness. You can share vulnerability without making someone responsible for fixing you. You can feel deeply without forcing everyone around you to carry your emotions. That balance makes your presence attractive because it feels safe and interesting at the same time. Chaos may create intensity, but intensity does not always create trust. Someone may feel drawn to emotional drama for a while, but over time, they begin to crave peace. They want someone who can understand pain without becoming consumed by it. They want someone who has stories, wisdom, and emotional layers, but also knows how to laugh, breathe, listen, and stay grounded. Depth without chaos also creates mystery. People sense that there is more inside you, but they do not feel overwhelmed by it. They can come closer without fearing that your inner world will swallow them. Your emotions feel mature, not uncontrolled. Your thoughts feel rich, not exhausting. Depth without chaos attracts because it offers something rare: substance with stability. You are not empty, but you are not unstable. You are not shallow, but you are not destructive. And when people meet someone who carries emotional richness with calmness, they often feel pulled in by both the safety and the depth. Space keeps connection alive. Space keeps connection alive because attraction needs room to breathe. When two people are constantly pressed against each other emotionally, the connection can start to feel heavy, even if the feelings are real. Too much access, too much checking, too much explaining, and too much emotional demand can slowly turn closeness into pressure. What once felt exciting can begin to feel like something that must be managed. Space works differently. It gives people time to miss, reflect, breathe, and return by choice. It reminds them that connection is not about control. It is not about owning every minute, every thought, or every emotional movement of another person. Healthy space allows desire to stay alive because it creates room for curiosity. The other person wonders what you are doing, what you are thinking, and how your world continues when they are not inside it. This is powerful because people are often more drawn to what they are allowed to approach freely. When someone feels trapped, they may pull away even if they care. But when they feel trusted, they often come closer naturally. Space says, "I value you, but I do not need to cage you." That kind of emotional freedom can make your presence feel safer and more attractive. Space also protects your own identity. You keep your routines, friendships, goals, quiet moments, and personal rhythm. You do not disappear inside the connection. That makes you more interesting because you remain a whole person, not just someone waiting for attention. Space keeps connection alive because it allows love, attraction, and interest to grow without suffocation. It gives closeness meaning because it is chosen again and again. And when people feel free beside you, they often return with more warmth than pressure could ever create. Oversharing too early kills mystery. Oversharing too early kills mystery because it gives people full access before curiosity has time to grow. Many people reveal too much at the beginning because they want to feel close quickly. They tell their deepest wounds, private fears, past heartbreaks, family problems, emotional triggers, and hidden insecurities before trust has been built. In the moment, it may feel honest, intense, and meaningful, but it can also make the connection feel too heavy too soon. Mystery is not about being fake or hiding your real self. It is about allowing people to discover you in layers. When you share everything immediately, the other person has no room to wonder. They may know your pain before they know your strength. They may know your struggles before they understand your values. They may feel close to your story, but not yet connected to your whole personality. This is why timing matters in attraction. Vulnerability is powerful when it is earned, but it can feel overwhelming when it arrives before emotional safety exists. People need time to learn your humor, your calmness, your standards, your dreams, and your way of seeing life. If the deepest parts come too early, the connection may become intense without becoming stable. Oversharing can also make you seem like you are asking someone to carry emotions they have not agreed to hold. Even kind people may step back when the weight feels too sudden, not because they do not care, but because the connection has not grown strong enough to hold that level of openness. Oversharing too early kills mystery because it removes the slow unfolding that attraction often needs. When you reveal yourself with patience, your depth feels valuable, your vulnerability feels protected, and your presence becomes something people want to keep discovering. Safety plus challenge creates attraction. Safety plus challenge creates attraction because people are drawn to those who make them feel comfortable without making them feel stagnant. Safety alone can feel peaceful, but if there is no spark, growth, or curiosity, the connection may become too predictable. Challenge alone can feel exciting, but if there is no emotional safety, it can quickly become stressful. The strongest attraction often lives where both exist together. Safety tells someone, "You can relax with me." Challenge tells them, "You can grow with me." That combination is powerful because it creates emotional balance. A person feels accepted, but not allowed to remain careless. They feel understood, but not endlessly excused. They feel close to you, but still curious about how you think, what you see, and what you bring out of them. In attraction, safety makes people open up, while challenge keeps their attention alive. When someone feels safe around you, they stop pretending. They speak more honestly, laugh more freely, and reveal more of who they are. But when you also challenge them in a respectful way, they feel mentally and emotionally awakened. You make them think deeper. You make them notice themselves. You make them want to rise, not because you shame them, but because your presence quietly calls out something better. This does not mean criticizing, testing, or making someone feel insecure. Real challenge is not cruelty, it is honest energy. It is having standards, asking better questions, holding your own views, and refusing to turn connection into blind approval. Safety plus challenge creates attraction because it gives people both comfort and movement. They feel they can rest near you, but they also feel more alive around you. And when someone feels both peaceful and awakened in your presence, the connection becomes difficult to forget. Safety plus challenge creates attraction. Safety plus challenge creates attraction because people are drawn to those who make them feel comfortable without making them feel stagnant. Safety alone can feel peaceful, but if there is no spark, growth, or curiosity, the connection may become too predictable. Challenge alone can feel exciting, but if there is no emotional safety, it can quickly become stressful. The strongest attraction often lives where both exist together. Safety tells someone, "You can relax with me." Challenge tells them, "You can grow with me." That combination is powerful because it creates emotional balance. A person feels accepted but not allowed to remain careless. They feel understood but not endlessly excused. They feel close to you but still curious about how you think, what you see, and what you bring out of them. In attraction, safety makes people open up, while challenge keeps their attention alive. When someone feels safe around you, they stop pretending. They speak more honestly, laugh more freely, and reveal more of who they are. But when you also challenge them in a respectful way, they feel mentally and emotionally awakened. You make them think deeper. You make them notice themselves. You make them want to rise, not because you shame them, but because your presence quietly calls out something better. This does not mean criticizing, testing, or making someone feel insecure. Real challenge is not cruelty. It is honest energy. It is having standards, asking better questions, holding your own views, and refusing to turn connection into blind approval. Safety plus challenge creates attraction because it gives people both comfort and movement. They feel they can rest near you, but they also feel more alive around you. And when someone feels both peaceful and awakened in your presence, the connection becomes difficult to forget. Respect grows when disrespect is not repeated. Respect grows when disrespect is not repeated because people learn the seriousness of your standards through what you refuse to normalize. Anyone can say they deserve better. Anyone can claim they have boundaries. But the truth becomes visible when someone crosses a line and you do not keep allowing the same behavior to return under different excuses. That is where respect begins to take shape. Many people lose power because they forgive the same disrespect too many times without requiring change. They accept the apology but ignore the pattern. They believe the sweet words but overlook the repeated behavior. Over time, the other person may begin to feel that your limits are only emotional reactions, not real standards. They may assume they can hurt you, explain it away, and still receive the same access. When disrespect is not repeated, your presence changes. You are no longer begging someone to understand your worth. You are showing that your peace has protection. This does not mean you become harsh, cruel, or dramatic. It means you calmly refuse to keep standing in a place where your dignity keeps being tested. In attraction, this creates powerful respect because people value those who do not abandon themselves to keep connection. When someone knows they cannot keep crossing your boundaries and still receive your full warmth, they become more aware of how they treat you. Your kindness feels stronger because it is not endless. Your patience feels valuable because it has a limit. Respect grows when disrespect is not repeated because consistency teaches people how serious you are about yourself. You are not punishing them. You are simply refusing to make poor treatment familiar. And when people realize that closeness to you requires care, maturity, and respect, your presence becomes harder to misuse and harder to take for granted. Discipline makes you trustworthy. Discipline makes you trustworthy because it shows that your actions are not controlled by every mood, impulse, temptation, or emotional storm. Many people can make promises when they feel inspired. They can speak beautifully when the moment is easy. They can say they care, say they are serious, say they will change, or say they will be there. But trust is not built from what people say in emotional moments. Trust is built from what they consistently do when feelings shift. A disciplined person becomes attractive because their life has evidence. They do not only talk about values, they practice them. They do not only promise loyalty, they protect it. They do not only speak about growth, they make choices that prove it. This kind of consistency makes people feel safe because they are not always wondering which version of you they will meet tomorrow. Discipline also shows emotional strength. A person who can control their habits, words, reactions, and desires feels more reliable than someone who is always ruled by the moment. If you can pause before reacting, keep your word when it is inconvenient, show up when excitement fades, and respect boundaries even when emotions are high, people begin to believe in your character. In attraction, trustworthiness is powerful because it creates peace. People may be drawn to charm at first, but they relax around discipline. They feel that your presence is not careless. They feel that your attention has structure. They feel that your love, friendship, or interest is not just a temporary mood. Discipline makes you trustworthy because it proves that your character has roots. You are not easily moved by pressure, desire, or passing emotion. And when people sense that your words are backed by self-control, your presence becomes safer, stronger, and more attractive. Attention matters when it is not automatic. Attention matters when it is not automatic because people value what feels intentional. When your attention is always available, always immediate, and always given without thought, it can slowly lose emotional weight. The person receiving it may enjoy it, but they may not feel the need to honor it. This is one of the quiet truths of attraction. Attention becomes powerful when it feels chosen, not guaranteed. Automatic attention often comes from fear. Fear of being forgotten, fear of losing connection, fear that if you do not reply quickly, praise constantly, or stay available every time, someone will drift away. But this kind of attention can begin to feel desperate. It tells people that they do not have to earn your focus because they already have it, no matter how they behave. Intentional attention feels different. It is warm, but not careless. It is present, but not needy. It shows interest without making the other person feel like they control your entire emotional world. When you give attention from choice instead of panic, people feel its value more deeply. A message feels meaningful. A compliment feels real. A moment of focus feels special because it is not something you throw everywhere. This creates attraction because people notice when your energy has standards. They sense that your time is connected to respect, consistency, and genuine interest. They cannot simply appear and receive your deepest attention without showing care in return. Attention matters when it is not automatic because it teaches people that your focus is valuable. You are not cold, but you are not endlessly available. You are not distant, but you are not controlled by every signal. And when someone realizes your attention must be respected, they begin to feel its power more clearly. People return to energy that does not drain them. People return to energy that does not drain them because life is already heavy for many hearts. Most people are carrying stress they rarely explain, fears they hide behind smiles, and emotional tiredness they do not always know how to name. So when they meet someone whose presence does not add more pressure, more confusion, more judgment, or more emotional weight, that person becomes a place of relief. Draining energy does not always come from bad intentions. Sometimes it comes from constant complaining, needing reassurance every minute, turning every small issue into tension, or making people feel responsible for your emotional stability. At first, people may try to be patient, but over time, they begin to feel exhausted. They may care about you, but if being around you always costs them peace, they may slowly pull away. Non-draining energy feels different. It does not mean you are always happy or never have problems. It means your presence is not built on emotional demand. You can share honestly without dumping. You can ask for support without making someone feel trapped. You can be deep without being heavy, warm without being needy, and real without making every moment feel like a crisis. In attraction, this matters because people remember how their nervous system feels around you. If they leave conversations feeling lighter, calmer, encouraged, or understood, they naturally want to return. Your energy becomes associated with peace. Your presence becomes something they can trust instead of something they must recover from. People return to energy that does not drain them because peace is addictive in a noisy world. When someone feels safe, free, and emotionally lighter around you, they may not even know why they keep coming back. They only know that being near you feels easier than being away. Confidence without arrogance pulls people closer. Confidence without arrogance pulls people closer because it gives people strength without making them feel small. Many people confuse confidence with superiority. They think they must speak louder, prove more, correct everyone, dominate conversations, or act untouched by emotion to appear powerful. But arrogance often creates distance. It may get attention, but it also makes people feel judged, compared, or quietly pushed beneath you. True confidence feels different. It does not need to make others feel weak in order to feel strong. A confident person can stand tall without stepping on anyone. They can know their value without announcing it every minute. They can accept praise without becoming addicted to it. And they can accept correction without feeling destroyed. That balance makes their presence feel safe, mature, and attractive. This is powerful because people are drawn to those who make them feel comfortable and respected at the same time. When you are confident without arrogance, others do not feel like they must compete with you, defend themselves around you, or shrink to protect your ego. They feel free to be themselves. They can admire you without feeling inferior. Confidence without arrogance also creates trust. It shows that your self-worth is stable enough to handle other people's light. You can celebrate someone else without feeling threatened. You can listen without needing to outshine. You can lead without making others feel invisible. Confidence without arrogance pulls people closer because it combines power with warmth. It tells people, I know who I am, but I do not need to reduce you to prove it. And that kind of energy is rare. It makes your presence feel strong, peaceful, and easy to approach, which naturally makes people want to stay near you. People attach to your presence. People attach to your presence because attraction is not only built from what you say, how you look, or what you do. It is built from the emotional atmosphere people experience when they are around you. Your presence can become a feeling in someone's body. It can become calm, excitement, comfort, curiosity, safety, or relief. And once someone begins to connect your presence with a feeling they enjoy, they may start wanting you around without fully understanding why. This is why presence matters so deeply. Some people speak beautifully, but leave others feeling tense. Some people look attractive, but make others feel unseen. Some people are exciting for a moment, but emotionally exhausting afterward. But when your presence makes someone feel lighter, safer, more understood, or more alive, you become more than a person they know. You become an emotional experience they want to repeat. People attach to the way they feel around you. If they feel accepted, they remember you. If they feel calm, they return to you. If they feel inspired, they think about you. If they feel deeply seen, they may begin to trust you in ways they do not trust many people. This kind of attachment grows quietly because it is not always logical. It lives in emotional memory. Your presence becomes powerful when it is consistent. When people can expect warmth without pressure, honesty without cruelty, depth without chaos, and attention without desperation, they begin to feel safe opening parts of themselves around you. People attach to your presence because the heart remembers emotional environments. Long after the conversation ends, they may forget the exact words, but they remember the feeling you left behind. And when that feeling becomes rare, peaceful, and meaningful, your presence becomes difficult to replace. Composure under pressure creates admiration. Composure under pressure creates admiration because people respect the person who does not fall apart when the moment becomes difficult. Pressure reveals what confidence is made of. Anyone can seem calm when life is easy, conversations are smooth, and everything is going their way. But when tension rises, when someone is criticized, challenged, ignored, rushed, or embarrassed, their real emotional strength begins to show. Many people react quickly under pressure. They panic, defend themselves, raise their voice, over-explain, blame others, or make the situation worse because their emotions take control. But a composed person creates a different feeling. They pause, they breathe, they observe. They choose their response instead of letting the situation choose it for them. That kind of control makes people look at them with quiet respect. In attraction, composure is powerful because it creates a sense of safety. When someone sees that you can handle stress without becoming cruel, chaotic, or desperate, they begin to trust your presence. They feel that you are not easily shaken by every problem. They feel that your strength is not just something you talk about, but something you carry when it matters. Composure also creates mystery. People wonder how you stay steady when others lose control. They wonder what kind of discipline, pain, experience, or self-respect built that calmness inside you. Your silence feels stronger. Your words feel more believable. Your decisions feel more grounded because they are not coming from panic. Composure under pressure creates admiration because it proves that your emotions do not own you. You may feel fear, hurt, anger, or disappointment, but you do not let those feelings destroy your dignity. And when people witness that kind of control, your presence becomes stronger, safer, and harder to forget. People attach to your presence. People attach to your presence because attraction is not only built from what you say, how you look, or what you do. It is built from the emotional atmosphere people experience when they are around you. Your presence can become a feeling in someone's body. It can become calm, excitement, comfort, curiosity, safety, or relief. And once someone begins to connect your presence with a feeling they enjoy, they may start wanting you around without fully understanding why. This is why presence matters so deeply. Some people speak beautifully but leave others feeling tense. Some people look attractive but make others feel unseen. Some people are exciting for a moment, but emotionally exhausting afterward. But when your presence makes someone feel lighter, safer, more understood, or more alive, you become more than a person they know. You become an emotional experience they want to repeat. People attach to the way they feel around you. If they feel accepted, they remember you. If they feel calm, they return to you. If they feel inspired, they think about you. If they feel deeply seen, they may begin to trust you in ways they do not trust many people. This kind of attachment grows quietly because it is not always logical. It lives in emotional memory. Your presence becomes powerful when it is consistent. When people can expect warmth without pressure, honesty without cruelty, depth without chaos, and attention without desperation, they begin to feel safe opening parts of themselves around you. People attach to your presence because the heart remembers emotional environments. Long after the conversation ends, they may forget the exact words, but they remember the feeling you left behind. And when that feeling becomes rare, peaceful, and meaningful, your presence becomes difficult to replace. Boundaries create emotional safety. Boundaries create emotional safety because they show people where peace begins and where harm is no longer allowed. Many people think boundaries push others away, but healthy boundaries actually make connection feel safer. Without boundaries, relationships can become confusing. People do not know what is acceptable, what is too much, what hurts you, or what kind of treatment slowly damages trust. When nothing is clearly protected, closeness can turn into emotional chaos. A person with boundaries creates calm because their standards are visible. They do not explode after silently tolerating too much. They do not pretend everything is fine while resentment grows underneath. They communicate what they need, what they will accept, and what they cannot keep allowing. That clarity makes people feel more secure because they are not walking through a connection filled with hidden anger and unspoken rules. In attraction, boundaries are powerful because they show self-respect without cruelty. They tell others, "You can come close, but you cannot come carelessly." That message creates emotional safety because people understand that your warmth is protected by honesty. They know you are not endlessly available for disrespect, but they also know you are not using distance to punish them. Your limits are not walls of bitterness. They are doors with standards. Boundaries also make trust easier. When someone knows you will speak up instead of secretly building resentment, they can relax around you. When they know your kindness has limits, they respect it more. When they know your peace matters to you, they become more careful with your heart. Boundaries create emotional safety because they remove confusion. They make love cleaner, attraction calmer, and connection more respectful. And when people feel that your presence has both warmth and structure, they begin to trust you more deeply. Respect attracts more than worship. Respect attracts more than worship because worship can feel heavy, needy, and uncomfortable. When someone worships another person, they often place them too high, give them too much power, and slowly lose their own center. At first, it may feel flattering to be admired that deeply, but over time, worship can create pressure. It can make the other person feel responsible for your happiness, your confidence, and your emotional stability. Respect feels different. Respect sees someone clearly without turning them into a god. It honors their value, but it does not erase your own. It allows admiration without desperation. It allows affection without self-abandonment. That balance is deeply attractive because people do not just want to be adored. They want to be met by someone who still has dignity, standards, and a sense of self. In attraction, worship can weaken desire because it removes equality. If you place someone far above you, they may start seeing you as someone who needs their approval more than someone who adds strength to their life. Your love begins to feel like dependency. Your attention begins to feel automatic. Your presence begins to feel less grounded. Respect creates a stronger pull because it carries warmth and self-possession together. You can admire someone and still disagree with them. You can care about them and still have boundaries. You can value their presence without making them the owner of your worth. That kind of emotional balance makes your interest feel mature. Respect attracts more than worship because it makes connection feel healthier, stronger, and more real. Worship says, "You are above me." Respect says, "I value you, and I value myself too." And when someone feels admired without being pressured or placed on a pedestal, they often feel more comfortable, more drawn, and more willing to come closer. Not fearing loss creates power. Not fearing loss creates power because the person who is terrified of losing someone often becomes easier to control. Fear makes people chase when they should pause, explain when they should observe, forgive when nothing has changed, and stay where their peace is slowly being taken from them. When loss feels unbearable, you may start treating another person's presence like survival, and that is where your power begins to weaken. A person who does not fear loss moves differently. They can love deeply, but they do not become owned by love. They can care about someone, but they do not abandon their standards just to keep that person close. This kind of emotional strength is attractive because it shows that your life still belongs to you. You are not begging someone to stay at the cost of your dignity. Not fearing loss does not mean being cold or pretending people do not matter. It means you understand that connection should not require self-betrayal. You can miss someone and still choose yourself. You can feel hurt and still walk away from disrespect. You can want a person in your life and still accept that not everyone is meant to remain there. In attraction, this creates respect because people sense when you are not controlled by the threat of absence. They cannot easily manipulate you with silence, mixed signals, withdrawal, or emotional distance. Your peace is not completely dependent on their presence. Not fearing loss creates power because it frees you from emotional begging. You stop clinging to people who make you feel small. You stop proving your worth to those who keep questioning it. And when someone feels that you can love without losing yourself, your presence becomes stronger, calmer, and far more difficult to take for granted. Purposeful movement feels desirable. Purposeful movement feels desirable because it shows that your life has direction. People are naturally drawn to those who seem to be moving with intention, not just drifting from mood to mood, person to person, or distraction to distraction. When your actions have meaning, your presence begins to feel stronger. You do not seem lost, empty, or waiting for someone else to give your life shape. You seem like someone who is already going somewhere. This kind of movement is attractive because it creates quiet momentum. You may not be loud about your goals, but people can feel your focus. They notice how you protect your time, how you choose your habits, how you carry yourself, and how you do not let every small emotion pull you away from your path. That kind of inner direction makes people curious. They wonder what drives you, what you are building, and what kind of future you are walking toward. Purposeful movement also makes your attention feel more valuable. When someone knows you have a life, a mission, or standards guiding you, your presence does not feel cheap. If you pause to give them time, it feels intentional. If you show interest, it feels chosen. You are not clinging because you have nothing else. You are connecting from a place of fullness. In attraction, people often desire those who make life feel bigger. A purposeful person carries that effect. Their energy says, "I am becoming something." That creates admiration because growth is magnetic. Purposeful movement feels desirable because it proves that you are not standing still, waiting to be saved. You are moving, learning, building, and choosing. And when people sense that your life has direction, they often want to come closer, not to complete you, but to be part of the journey. Patience makes you feel rare. Patience makes you feel rare because most people rush what they want. They rush replies, rush closeness, rush proof, rush commitment, rush attention, and rush emotional certainty. They want everything to happen quickly because waiting makes them uncomfortable. But a patient person carries a different kind of strength. They do not move from panic. They do not force what is not ready. They understand that what is real often needs time to reveal itself. This kind of patience is attractive because it creates calm around you. People do not feel pressured to perform, explain, or give more than they are ready to give. Your presence does not feel like a demand. It feels steady. You can show interest without trying to control the outcome. You can care without needing everything answered immediately. That emotional restraint makes people feel safer near you. Patience also shows confidence. A person who can wait without falling apart is not easily controlled by fear. They are not desperate for every sign, every response, or every piece of validation. They trust their own value enough not to chase what needs time. That kind of inner control feels rare because many people become anxious the moment things are uncertain. In attraction, patience creates depth. It allows curiosity to grow. It allows trust to form naturally. It allows people to come closer because they want to, not because they were pushed. When someone feels that you are patient, they often feel respected rather than trapped. Patience makes you feel rare because it proves that your desire has discipline. You may want something deeply, but you are not ruled by urgency. And in a world where so many people rush, the person who can wait with dignity becomes unforgettable. Dignity beats attention. Dignity beats attention because not all attention adds value to your life. Some attention only feeds your ego while slowly weakening your self-respect. Many people become addicted to being noticed, wanted, desired, or chased, even by people who do not truly respect them. They accept mixed signals, shallow compliments, careless affection, and inconsistent behavior because the attention feels good for a moment. But attention without respect can become a quiet trap. Dignity works differently. It asks a harder question. Is this attention honoring me, or is it only using me? That question changes everything. When you choose dignity, you stop confusing being wanted with being valued. You stop lowering your standards just because someone gives you temporary excitement. You stop letting someone's interest make you forget how they actually treat you. This kind of self-control is deeply attractive because it shows that you are not easily bought by praise, desire, or emotional crumbs. You can enjoy attention, but you do not worship it. You can be flattered, but you do not become blind. You understand that your peace, confidence, and self-respect are worth more than being noticed by people who cannot treat you with care. In attraction, dignity creates power because people sense when your standards are stronger than your need for validation. They realize they cannot keep access to you with charm alone. They cannot disrespect you and cover it with sweet words. They cannot offer just enough attention to keep you waiting forever. Dignity beats attention because attention can make you feel seen for a moment, but dignity keeps you whole after the moment passes. And when people meet someone who values self-respect more than being desired, they often feel a deeper respect for them. Deep listening makes you unforgettable. Deep listening makes you unforgettable because most people are used to being heard only on the surface. They speak, but others interrupt. They explain, but others rush to reply. They share something important, but the person in front of them is already preparing advice, judgment, or a story of their own. So when someone finally listens with patience, attention, and emotional presence, it leaves a mark that ordinary conversation cannot create. Deep listening is not just staying quiet while someone talks. It is noticing what their words are carrying. It is hearing the hesitation behind their voice, the pain behind their joke, the hope behind their question, and the fear behind their silence. This kind of listening makes people feel seen in places they often hide. It tells them, without dramatic words, "You matter enough for me to pay attention." In attraction, deep listening is powerful because it creates emotional intimacy without forcing closeness. People naturally open up to the person who does not make them feel rushed, judged, or invisible. They begin to associate your presence with relief. They feel safe telling you things they might not tell everyone else. And once someone feels emotionally safe with you, they rarely forget how your attention made them feel. Deep listening also separates you from people who only try to impress. While others are trying to sound interesting, you become memorable by making the other person feel understood. That is rare because many people want attention, but very few know how to give it fully. Deep listening makes you unforgettable because it touches the hidden human need to be truly received. People may forget clever words, loud confidence, or surface charm, but they remember the person who listened like their inner world was worth entering. Matching words with actions builds trust. Matching words with actions builds trust because people do not feel safe with what you say. They feel safe with what you repeatedly prove. Words can sound beautiful in the moment. Anyone can promise loyalty, care, effort, honesty, or change when emotions are high. Anyone can say, "I am different, I care about you," or "You can trust me." But when those words are not followed by consistent action, they slowly become noise. This is why alignment is so attractive. When your behavior matches your promises, people begin to relax around you. They do not have to keep questioning your intentions. They do not have to wonder which version of you is real. They do not have to protect themselves from disappointment every time you speak. Your consistency becomes emotional proof. In attraction, trust grows when someone sees that your words are not just performance. If you say you respect them, your actions show respect. If you say you value them, your time and effort reflect it. If you say you are serious, your behavior does not create confusion. This makes your presence feel steady because people can believe you without feeling foolish. Matching words with actions also creates respect because it shows self-discipline. It proves that you are not controlled by temporary moods. You do not speak from excitement and disappear when effort is required. You do not promise from emotion and forget when the moment passes. Your character has follow-through. Matching words with actions builds trust because it turns your presence into something reliable. People may be attracted to charm at first, but they stay connected to consistency. When your actions keep confirming your words, your energy becomes safer, stronger, and more valuable to the people around you. Low reassurance needs feel attractive. Low reassurance needs feel attractive because they show that your confidence is not constantly depending on someone else's reaction. Many people need to be reminded again and again that they are wanted, valued, missed, loved, or chosen. At first, this may seem harmless, especially when the feelings are real. But when reassurance becomes a constant demand, it can make connection feel heavy. The other person may begin to feel like they are always responsible for keeping your insecurity quiet. A person with low reassurance needs feels different. They can enjoy affection without needing it repeated every minute. They can receive love without immediately doubting it. They can handle silence, distance, or a busy day without turning it into a crisis. That kind of emotional steadiness creates peace because people do not feel trapped in the role of proving themselves endlessly. This is attractive because it shows inner security. You are not asking someone to rebuild your self-worth every time they are tired, distracted, or unavailable. You have enough trust in yourself to remain grounded without constant confirmation. That does not mean you never need comfort or clarity. It means your need for reassurance does not control the entire connection. In attraction, low reassurance needs create freedom. People feel safer loving you because your peace does not collapse over every small uncertainty. They feel they can breathe around you. They can show care naturally instead of feeling pressured to perform care perfectly. Low reassurance needs feel attractive because they make your presence calmer, lighter, and more mature. You can care deeply without becoming emotionally dependent on constant proof. And when someone feels trusted instead of endlessly tested, they often become more willing to give love freely because your energy does not make affection feel like an obligation. Peaceful energy feels expensive. Peaceful energy feels expensive because it is rare in a world where many people bring noise, pressure, confusion, and emotional disorder everywhere they go. Anyone can be attractive for a moment. Anyone can be loud, exciting, charming, or intense. But peace is different. Peace feels like something that had to be earned through self-control, healing, discipline, and the decision not to let every outside force disturb your inner world. This kind of energy feels valuable because people do not experience it often. Many are used to connections that drain them, conversations that feel like battles, and people who make them feel responsible for their moods. So when they meet someone whose presence feels calm, clean, and emotionally steady, it stands out immediately. Peaceful energy makes people feel like they can breathe around you. In attraction, peaceful energy becomes powerful because it does not beg for attention. It does not chase, force, threaten, or overwhelm. It simply exists with quiet confidence. People begin to feel that being near you gives them access to a calmer version of themselves. That makes your presence feel almost luxurious, not because you are showing off, but because you offer something many people cannot find easily. Peaceful energy also shows strong boundaries. A peaceful person is not peaceful because nothing ever happens to them. They are peaceful because they have learned what not to entertain, what not to absorb, and what not to carry. That kind of restraint creates respect. Peaceful energy feels expensive because it cannot be faked for long. It comes from inner order, and when someone experiences that calmness around you, they may begin to value your presence like something rare, soothing, and difficult to replace. Limited availability makes you memorable. Limited availability makes you memorable because people often remember what they cannot access all the time. When someone is always present, always waiting, always replying, always adjusting, and always available, no matter how they are treated, their presence can slowly become familiar in a way that weakens emotional impact. It does not mean they are not valuable. It means constant access can make value easier to overlook. A person with limited availability creates a different feeling. Their time has shape. Their attention has standards. Their presence does not feel like something anyone can receive at any moment without care or respect. This makes people notice when they do show up. A message feels more meaningful. A conversation feels more intentional. A moment of closeness feels more valuable because it is not endlessly available. Limited availability is not about playing games, acting cold, or disappearing to make someone anxious. That kind of behavior feels immature. Real limited availability comes from having a full life, personal priorities, emotional boundaries, and self-respect. You are not unavailable to punish people. You are simply not living as if everyone deserves unlimited access to your energy. In attraction, this creates memory because space gives people time to feel your absence. When you are not constantly present, your energy has room to echo in their mind. They remember your words. They think about your presence. They notice what feels different when you are not around. Limited availability makes you memorable because it turns your presence into something experienced, not consumed. People begin to understand that your time is not cheap, your attention is not automatic, and your closeness is not guaranteed. And when access to you feels meaningful, your presence stays in the mind longer. Freedom around you deepens attraction. Freedom around you deepens attraction because people feel safest with the person who does not make love feel like a cage. Many people confuse closeness with control. They think if someone cares about them, they must constantly explain themselves, prove themselves, report every movement, reply immediately, and shrink their life to protect the other person's insecurity. But when connection begins to feel like pressure, attraction slowly loses its softness. A person who gives freedom creates a different emotional experience. They make others feel trusted, not monitored. They make affection feel peaceful, not possessive. They allow space without turning it into punishment. They allow individuality without treating it like rejection. That kind of presence makes people relax because they do not feel like they must abandon themselves to stay close to you. This is powerful because people are naturally drawn to places where they can breathe. When someone feels free around you, they can be more honest, more playful, more vulnerable, and more emotionally open. They do not have to hide parts of themselves out of fear that you will become jealous, suspicious, or controlling. Your calmness gives them room to choose you willingly. Freedom also makes attraction stronger because it removes desperation from the connection. You are not trying to own the person. You are not trying to force loyalty through pressure. You understand that real closeness is not proven by control, but by voluntary return. When someone comes back to you because they want to, not because they feel trapped, the bond becomes deeper. Freedom around you deepens attraction because it makes your presence feel safe and mature. You give warmth without ownership, care without pressure, and closeness without suffocation. And when someone feels they can remain fully themselves beside you, they often become more attached to your energy. Self-respect makes simple traits powerful. Self-respect makes simple traits powerful because it changes the way people experience everything about you. A quiet voice, a calm reply, a gentle smile, a simple outfit, or a slow walk may seem ordinary on someone who does not value themselves, but when those same traits come from a person with self-respect, they carry a different energy. They no longer feel small. They feel intentional, grounded, and quietly strong. Self-respect gives weight to simplicity. You do not need to overperform, over-explain, overdress, overtalk, or overprove to be noticed. Your confidence does not come from making noise. It comes from knowing that your presence has value before anyone reacts to it. That inner certainty makes even your smallest actions feel more attractive because they are not begging for approval. This is why self-respect can make ordinary qualities unforgettable. Kindness becomes more powerful when it is protected by boundaries. Silence becomes more powerful when it comes from dignity, not fear. Patience becomes more powerful when it is not mixed with desperation. Warmth becomes more powerful when people know you can also walk away from disrespect. In attraction, people often respond less to the trait itself and more to the energy behind it. A simple compliment feels deeper when it comes from someone who does not flatter everyone. A calm answer feels stronger when it comes from someone who is not easily shaken. A soft presence feels magnetic when it belongs to someone who cannot be easily controlled. Self-respect makes simple traits powerful because it turns ordinary behavior into quiet authority. You do not need to become louder, harder, or more dramatic to be attractive. When you respect yourself deeply, even your softness, silence, patience, and calmness begin to feel rare. Wholeness attracts the strongest love. Wholeness attracts the strongest love because it shows that you are not entering connection from emptiness. Many people search for love as if another person is supposed to repair everything inside them. They want someone to become their confidence, peace, purpose, happiness, and emotional stability. But when love is used as a rescue, it often becomes heavy. The other person begins to feel needed more than chosen. A whole person loves differently. They can care deeply without clinging. They can be vulnerable without collapsing. They can enjoy closeness without losing their own identity. Their love does not come from desperation. It comes from fullness. That makes the connection feel safer, because the other person is not being forced to carry a life that has no center of its own. Wholeness is attractive because it creates emotional freedom. You are not asking someone to complete you before you can feel valuable. You already have standards, joy, purpose, boundaries, and self-respect. So when you choose someone, it feels meaningful. It says, I want you in my life, not, I cannot survive without you. That difference is powerful. In attraction, wholeness creates deeper respect. People can feel when your love is not begging for identity. They can sense that you are not trying to possess them, control them, or use them to escape yourself. Your presence feels calm because you are not emotionally starving. Wholeness attracts the strongest love because strong love needs two people who can stand, not two people trying to disappear into each other. When you are whole, you do not love from fear, you love from choice. And love that is chosen freely, without desperation or self-abandonment, becomes deeper, healthier, and far more powerful. Emotional restraint makes people wonder about you. Emotional restraint makes people wonder about you because it shows that your inner world is not easily exposed by every situation. Most people reveal too much of themselves the moment they are triggered. A small delay makes them anxious. A sharp comment makes them defensive. A little uncertainty makes them over-explain. Their emotions rise quickly to the surface, and everyone can see what controls them. But when someone has emotional restraint, they create a different kind of curiosity. This does not mean acting cold, lifeless, or unreachable. Emotional restraint does not mean you feel nothing. It means you feel deeply, but you do not let every feeling command your behavior. You can be hurt without becoming dramatic. You can be interested without becoming desperate. You can be angry without losing your dignity. That kind of control makes people look closer because they sense there is more happening inside you than you are showing. In attraction, restraint creates mystery. People begin to wonder what you noticed, what you are thinking, and why you are not reacting the way others would. Your calmness becomes a quiet puzzle. Your silence does not feel empty. It feels intentional. Your words carry more weight because they are not thrown out in emotional panic. This kind of energy is powerful because people respect what they cannot easily provoke. When they realize they cannot pull you into chaos, rush your emotions, or force a reaction from you, your presence becomes stronger. You feel less predictable, less controllable, and more grounded. Emotional restraint makes people wonder about you because it protects your depth. You are not hiding your humanity. You are showing that your emotions have discipline, and that discipline makes your presence feel rare, controlled, and quietly magnetic. A calm no creates more respect than an eager yes. A calm no creates more respect than an eager yes because it shows that your approval is not controlled by fear. Many people say yes too quickly because they are afraid of disappointing others, losing attention, seeming difficult, or being rejected. They agree when they are tired. They accept what feels wrong. They make themselves available even when their peace is asking them to stop. Over time, their yes loses value because people begin to expect it. A calm no works differently. It does not shout, attack, or apologize for existing. It simply stands. It tells people that your time, energy, body, attention, and emotions are not open to every request. This kind of no creates respect because it proves you have a center. You are not being moved around by pressure, guilt, charm, or fear of being disliked. In attraction, this is powerful because boundaries create emotional weight. A person who can say no calmly does not feel desperate to be accepted. They can be kind without being controlled. They can care without surrendering themselves. That balance makes their presence feel stronger because people understand that access to them requires consideration. An eager yes can sometimes look loving, but if it comes from fear, it can make you appear too easy to bend. A calm no shows that your softness has structure. It reminds people that you are not available for everything, and that your agreement must be earned through respect. A calm no creates more respect than an eager yes because it protects your dignity. It shows that you are not chasing approval so badly that you will betray yourself for it. And when people sense that your boundaries are steady, your presence becomes harder to misuse, harder to pressure, and much harder to take for granted. Being hard to emotionally rush makes you magnetic. Being hard to emotionally rush makes you magnetic because it shows that your feelings are not controlled by pressure. Many people can be pushed into quick reactions. They can be rushed into affection, rushed into explanations, rushed into apologies, rushed into decisions, and rushed into closeness before they have truly chosen it. When someone senses that you can be emotionally hurried, they may start guiding the connection at their speed instead of respecting your rhythm. A person who cannot be emotionally rushed feels different. They take their time. They observe. They listen to actions, not only words. They do not give deep access just because someone creates intensity. They do not mistake pressure for passion. This kind of emotional patience creates power because it tells people that your heart has a gate, not an open door anyone can run through. In attraction, being hard to rush creates curiosity. People wonder what it takes to truly reach you. They begin to understand that your warmth is real, but your trust is not careless. You can enjoy someone's attention without giving them control over your pace. You can like someone without handing them your whole emotional world too soon. This makes your presence feel safer and more valuable. You are not playing games. You are simply allowing connection to prove itself over time. That kind of discipline protects you from false intimacy, empty promises, and temporary excitement that disappears once it gets what it wants. Being hard to emotionally rush makes you magnetic because it shows self-possession. You do not move because someone pressures you. You move because your mind, heart, and standards agree. And when people feel that your closeness cannot be forced, they often value it more deeply when it is finally given. Quiet standards make your presence feel expensive. Quiet standards make your presence feel expensive because they show value without needing to announce it. Some people talk loudly about what they deserve, what they will not accept, and how high their standards are, but their actions often say something different. They complain about disrespect, yet keep returning to it. They say they know their worth, yet keep negotiating with people who treat them carelessly. Quiet standards are different because they do not need constant speeches. They are seen in your choices. This kind of energy feels powerful because it teaches people that your attention is not random. Your time has meaning. Your affection has conditions of respect. Your emotional access is not open to everyone who shows temporary interest. You can be warm, but not endlessly available. You can be understanding, but not easily manipulated. You can forgive, but not keep pretending repeated behavior is harmless. In attraction, quiet standards create deep respect because they make your presence feel protected. People sense that being close to you requires maturity. They understand that charm alone is not enough. Sweet words alone are not enough. Excitement alone is not enough. To remain close, they must bring consistency, honesty, and care. Quiet standards also create mystery because you are not constantly explaining your boundaries. You simply live them. You do not argue with every person who fails to meet them. You adjust access. You create distance. You let behavior decide who gets closeness and who only gets politeness. Quiet standards make your presence feel expensive because they show that your peace has value. You are not trying to look important. You are simply treating yourself like someone worth protecting. And when you do that consistently, people begin to feel that carelessness around you has a price. The ability to enjoy silence creates tension. The ability to enjoy silence creates tension because most people are uncomfortable when nothing is being said. They rush to fill every quiet moment with jokes, explanations, questions, or nervous talking because silence makes them feel exposed. They worry that the connection is dying, that they seem boring, or that the other person is losing interest. But someone who can sit calmly in silence carries a different kind of presence. They do not seem afraid of stillness. This kind of silence is attractive because it creates emotional pressure without force. When you are comfortable saying nothing, people begin to feel your confidence. They notice that you are not scrambling to entertain them. You are not begging the moment to approve of you. You are simply present, steady, and unshaken. That calmness can make even a quiet moment feel charged. In attraction, silence allows curiosity to grow. People begin to wonder what you are thinking. They become more aware of your eyes, your expression, your body language, and your emotional control. A person who cannot handle silence often gives everything away through nervous words. But a person who can enjoy silence keeps something hidden, and hidden things naturally pull attention. This does not mean using silence to intimidate or punish. Powerful silence is not coldness. It is comfort with your own presence. It is the ability to let a moment breathe without forcing it to become something else. That ease makes people feel both calm and curious around you. The ability to enjoy silence creates tension because it shows that you do not need constant noise to feel secure. Your presence can hold a room without filling it. And when silence around you feels alive instead of awkward, people remember the feeling. Not needing to be rescued makes you more desirable. Not needing to be rescued makes you more desirable because it shows that you are not entering connection from helplessness. Many people secretly want someone to save them from loneliness, insecurity, boredom, confusion, or emotional pain. They may call it love, but underneath it, they are often looking for someone to carry the parts of life they have not learned to face. That kind of energy can feel heavy because the other person begins to feel less like a partner and more like an emotional lifeline. A person who does not need to be rescued feels different. They may have struggles, wounds, and vulnerable moments, but they are not waiting for someone else to become their entire solution. They can receive support without becoming dependent on pity. They can accept love without turning it into survival. They can be honest about pain without making another person responsible for fixing everything inside them. In attraction, this creates respect. People are drawn to those who have their own foundation. When someone sees that you can stand, think, heal, build, and keep moving without begging another person to complete you, your presence feels stronger. You are not asking them to repair your life. You are inviting them into a life that already has movement. This does not mean acting like you never need anyone. Everyone needs comfort, kindness, and support. But needing support is different from needing rescue. Support strengthens you. Rescue replaces your own responsibility. Not needing to be rescued makes you more desirable because it shows wholeness. You can be loved, but you are not emotionally homeless without love. You can be helped, but you are not helpless. And that quiet independence makes people respect your strength while wanting to come closer. A private life creates stronger curiosity. A private life creates stronger curiosity because people are naturally drawn to what they cannot fully access. When every thought, plan, feeling, relationship, wound, and personal detail is exposed too easily, mystery disappears quickly. People may know a lot about you, but they may stop wondering about you. A private life works differently. It gives enough to be real, but not so much that your entire inner world becomes public property. Privacy is attractive because it suggests depth. It tells people that there are parts of you that must be earned through trust, time, and genuine closeness. You are not hiding because you are empty. You are protecting what is meaningful. This makes your presence feel more valuable because people sense that knowing you deeply is not something everyone receives. In attraction, a private life creates mental involvement. People begin to wonder what you do when you are not around, what you think about, what you care about, and what your quieter world looks like. That wondering keeps attention alive. You become less like a person they can consume quickly and more like someone they must discover gradually. A private life also shows self-respect. It means you are not using exposure as a way to feel important. You do not need everyone to know your business for your life to feel real. You can enjoy moments without displaying them. You can have emotions without broadcasting them. You can build quietly without announcing every step. A private life creates stronger curiosity because it leaves room for imagination. It makes your presence feel layered, protected, and intentional. And when people sense that there is more to you than what they can easily see, they often become more interested in getting closer. Being warm without chasing creates emotional pull. Being warm without chasing creates emotional pull because it gives people affection without pressure. Many people think attraction requires constant pursuit. They believe they must text more, prove more, compliment more, explain more, and stay emotionally available at all times to keep someone interested. But when warmth becomes chasing, it can start to feel desperate. The other person may enjoy the attention for a while, but they may also begin to feel the weight of your need. Warmth without chasing feels different. It says, I am open, but I am not desperate. I care, but I am not losing myself. I enjoy your presence, but I am not begging for yours. That balance creates attraction because it allows the other person to feel wanted without feeling trapped. They can move toward you freely instead of feeling pulled by pressure. In attraction, this creates emotional safety and curiosity at the same time. Your warmth makes people feel comfortable. Your restraint makes them respect you. You can smile, listen, encourage, and show interest, but you do not abandon your rhythm just to keep their attention. That makes your presence feel grounded. Chasing often comes from fear. Fear that someone will forget you if you stop proving yourself. Fear that space means rejection. Fear that your value depends on constant visibility. But warmth without chasing comes from self-respect. You trust that what is meant to grow does not need to be forced every second. Being warm without chasing creates emotional pull because it combines softness with dignity. People feel your kindness, but they also feel your independence. And when someone experiences care from a person who does not need to beg, that care feels cleaner, calmer, and much more powerful. Self-control makes attraction feel safer. Self-control makes attraction feel safer because people trust the person who is not ruled by every feeling. Attraction can be exciting, but without self-control, it can quickly become unstable. Someone may be charming one moment and jealous the next, warm one day and punishing the next, deeply interested today and emotionally reckless tomorrow. That kind of unpredictability may create intensity, but it does not create safety. A person with self-control brings a different kind of attraction. They can feel desire without becoming possessive. They can feel hurt without becoming cruel. They can feel anger without destroying the connection. They can feel excitement without rushing the other person. This makes their presence feel mature because their emotions have leadership, not chaos. In attraction, safety matters more than many people admit. People may be pulled toward intensity for a moment, but they stay closer to the person who makes them feel emotionally secure. Self-control shows that you can handle closeness without turning it into control. You can handle vulnerability without using it as a weapon. You can handle disappointment without making the other person fear your reaction. This kind of energy builds trust. People relax around someone who does not explode, manipulate, pressure, or collapse every time feelings become complicated. They begin to believe that connection with you will not cost them their peace. Self-control makes attraction feel safer because it proves that your heart has discipline. You are not cold, but you are not careless. You are not emotionless, but you are not emotionally dangerous. And when people sense that your passion is guided by maturity, they feel more comfortable opening up, trusting you, and moving closer. People crave the energy they cannot easily disturb. People crave the energy they cannot easily disturb because stability feels rare in a world full of emotional reaction. Many people are used to being around those who can be shaken by the smallest change in tone, a delayed reply, a simple disagreement, or a moment of silence. One little thing can ruin their mood, shift the whole atmosphere, or turn a peaceful conversation into tension. So when someone carries energy that does not collapse easily, it feels powerful. This kind of energy is attractive because it creates emotional safety. People feel they do not have to walk on eggshells around you. They do not have to constantly manage your mood, protect your ego, or fear that every small mistake will become a problem. Your steadiness gives them room to breathe. They can be human around you without feeling like one wrong move will destroy the connection. Being hard to disturb does not mean being numb or careless. It means your peace is not available for every person or situation to control. You may notice disrespect, pressure, emotional games, or sudden distance, but you do not automatically surrender your state of mind to them. That restraint creates respect because people feel that your inner world has protection. In attraction, this makes your presence quietly addictive. People often crave calm after spending too much time around chaos. They return to the person who does not drain them, panic them, or pull them into emotional storms. Your energy becomes a place of relief. People crave the energy they cannot easily disturb because it feels strong, peaceful, and rare. When others realize they cannot easily provoke, rush, or destabilize you, they begin to sense your depth. And that steadiness can become more attractive than loud charm. A graceful exit leaves a deeper mark than a loud argument. A graceful exit leaves a deeper mark than a loud argument because dignity often stays in the mind longer than drama. When people feel hurt, rejected, ignored, or disrespected, the natural urge is to argue, defend, explain, accuse, or force the other person to understand the pain they caused. But loud arguments often give away too much emotion to someone who may not be ready to value it. They can turn pain into performance and dignity into exhaustion. A graceful exit works differently. It does not scream for closure. It does not beg for recognition. It does not turn the moment into a battle for who cares more. It simply shows that you have reached a place where your peace matters more than proving your point. That kind of exit can feel quiet, but its impact is strong. In attraction, a graceful exit creates emotional memory because it is unexpected. People may expect you to chase, plead, insult, or break down. But when you leave with calmness, your absence becomes heavier than your words. They begin to feel what they lost without being distracted by drama. Your silence becomes a mirror they cannot easily escape. This does not mean leaving without communication when communication is needed. It means knowing when enough has already been said. It means refusing to keep explaining your worth to someone committed to misunderstanding or disrespecting it. A graceful exit protects your image and your self-respect. A graceful exit leaves a deeper mark than a loud argument because it shows control where others expect chaos. You may be hurt, but you do not become destructive. You may care, but you do not collapse. And that quiet strength can echo in someone's mind long after you are gone. The less you perform, the more real you feel. The less you perform, the more real you feel, because people can sense when someone is trying too hard to be accepted. Performance may look attractive at first. It can appear as charm, confidence, mystery, success, humor, or perfection. But when everything feels calculated, people may admire the image without feeling connected to the person behind it. Realness creates a deeper kind of attraction because it gives people something honest to trust. Performing usually comes from fear of being ordinary, rejected, ignored, judged, or not enough. So a person begins to edit every word, exaggerate every strength, hide every flaw, and shape themselves into whatever they think others will approve of. But the more someone performs, the less relaxed their presence feels. People may not know exactly what is wrong, but they can feel the tension behind the mask. When you stop performing, your energy becomes easier to receive. You do not need to force every moment to prove your worth. You can speak naturally, laugh genuinely, admit simple things, and exist without turning yourself into a show. This makes people feel safer around you because they are not being asked to admire a version of you that feels too polished to touch. In attraction, realness is powerful because it creates emotional trust. People are drawn to those who feel grounded in themselves. They want to sense that the person in front of them is not changing shape every second to be liked. Authenticity gives your presence warmth, depth, and stability. The less you perform, the more real you feel because attraction becomes stronger when people sense truth behind your energy. You do not need to impress everyone. You need to be believable. And when your presence feels honest, people remember it because it gives them permission to be honest too. Calm depth attracts more than loud confidence. Calm depth is one of the most powerful forms of attraction because it does not fight for attention. It does not walk into a room begging to be noticed, yet somehow people feel it. This is the kind of presence that makes others look twice, not because you are loud, flashy, or desperate to prove yourself, but because there is something settled about you. You seem like someone who knows who they are, even when no one is clapping. Loud confidence can impress people for a moment, but calm depth stays in their mind longer. When someone talks too much, brags too often, or tries too hard to dominate every space, people may notice them, but they also begin to feel the insecurity hiding underneath. Calm depth is different. It makes people curious. They wonder what you are thinking, what you have experienced, and why you do not need to explain yourself like everyone else. This attraction feels unfair because it works quietly. You are not forcing chemistry. You are not performing mystery. You are simply carrying yourself like a person who is not easily shaken. That emotional steadiness makes people feel safe around you, but also slightly challenged because they cannot fully read you at once. Calm depth creates a pull because human beings are drawn to what feels rare. In a world where many people are rushing to be seen, the person who can remain grounded feels different. Their silence does not feel empty. Their words feel heavier because they are not wasted. Their presence feels valuable because it is not thrown everywhere. That is why calm depth attracts more than loud confidence. Loud confidence may win attention quickly, but calm depth wins memory. It leaves people thinking about you long after the moment has passed. Attention feels valuable when you do not chase. Attention feels valuable when it is not given away too easily. This is one of the most misunderstood attraction secrets because many people think the way to become wanted is to show more, text more, explain more, and prove more. But the human mind often values what feels limited. When your attention is always available, it can start to feel ordinary. When your attention is calm, selective, and not desperate, it begins to feel earned. This does not mean acting cold or pretending not to care. That usually feels childish and forced. Real attraction grows when people sense that your attention comes from choice, not need. You are present when you want to be present, but you are not chasing every reply, every reaction, or every sign of approval. That creates a quiet emotional pressure because people begin to notice that access to you is not automatic. When you do not chase, your presence becomes stronger. A message from you feels more meaningful. A compliment from you lands deeper. Your time feels more important because it is not being thrown around in panic. People can feel the difference between someone who is interested and someone who is starving for validation. Interest attracts. but desperation can make people pull away. The power of not chasing is that it protects your dignity. You are not trying to force someone to see your value. You are allowing your value to stand on its own. That kind of self-control makes people wonder about you. It makes them think about your silence, your patience, and your ability to stay calm without begging for attention. That is why attention feels valuable when you do not chase. The less you run after approval, the more powerful your presence becomes. A self-led life makes you magnetic. A self-led life makes you magnetic because it shows people that you are not waiting for someone else to give you permission to exist. You have your own rhythm, your own direction, your own standards, and your own inner world. This kind of attraction is powerful because it does not depend on looks, noise, or constant performance. It comes from the feeling that you are already moving somewhere, with or without applause. People are naturally drawn to those who seem guided from within. When your life is not controlled by every opinion, every trend, or every person's approval, you begin to carry a different kind of energy. You do not look emotionally lost. You do not seem like someone who can be easily pulled apart by attention or rejection. That stability makes people curious, because a self-led person feels rare in a world where many people are quietly begging to be chosen. A self-led life also creates attraction because it gives people something to respect. You have interests, goals, habits, and boundaries that exist beyond romance, friendship, or social validation. This makes your presence feel fuller. You are not empty space waiting for someone to fill you. You are already a whole person, and that makes connection with you feel like an addition, not a rescue mission. This is why people often become more attracted to someone when they see them focused on their own path. Purpose creates mystery. Discipline creates admiration. Independence creates desire. When someone senses that you are not easily distracted from your life, they begin to wonder what it would be like to be invited into it. A self-led life is magnetic because it quietly says, "I choose, I do not beg." And that kind of energy is hard to ignore.